Greetings to the to the BMIC, which is the beginners. This is the beginners marketing. I'm sorry, market investor club. Big marketing. The new channels. I'm still getting used to it. So here we go. We're gonna be doing FOREX today. Today's July the 4th. So I like to say everybody there in the USA, happy July the 4th. I hope we continue to have July the 4th, and remember all those who have who who die for our independence. And I know the swamp creatures over there don't remember a lot of this stuff, but we did get our independence, and we have then later on we had a great constitution that we still have to abide by it, and I think we should still support, and all this great stuff in the United States. And I hope you guys celebrate this, celebrate our independence. We wouldn't be at where we're at right now if we didn't go independent. So we're looking at our we're looking at FOREX markets, because as you know, the Wall Street's they're closed. Everybody's taking their holiday, but in general, the entire world's still open, and there's a lot of FOREX trading today. Is when you're looking at FOREX markets on a Monday, volatility can be very high on Mondays. It could be all over the place. If you guys have followed my other videos, you know I'm not a common trader. I'm not a common analyst when it comes to any of this stuff. I see this from a different point of view. I look at this as psychological warfare on the investor, you could say. And that's why so many people lose their investment, losing money on the markets, because they don't understand the big player concept. They don't understand what's really going on out there. What's the super banks and these huge institutions that pour money into these markets and manipulate it. Forex market is one of the most manipulated market there is. It is extremely manipulated, Forex market. All right, and you can't go there and check other people's countries' status and how they're manipulating their own currency. It's just impossible. And all your indicators in the world, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to figure this market up. You think you figure it out, and they're dumping it. Also, the massive amount of data that they're collecting on you is incredible on the investor. I'm not talking about your personal data, I'm talking more like what you're trading on your trading station is being fed directly to the bankers. They know how many people have opened up trades and or are potentially going to open up a trade. They put people put in limit calls and limit orders and all this kind of stuff. They know all this. They got all this data, and then they have algorithm to crunch all these numbers, because you have to have an entire army of people trying to crunch everybody's data. So what you have is they build up these programs that crunch all these numbers, and then algorithms, and then predict in which way people think they can take the market to, or what direction, you could say. And then from that point on, they're manipulating the market, and they're pumping and dumping, dumping, and it's all in their favor. You're basically at a rigged game. You're playing a rigged game, and you need to understand this game is rigged. All right, and if you're going to get into the Forex market, what you're trying to figure out is what the riggers are up to, and which direction the riggers are going to take the rest of the players in what direction. Remember, it's about them making money. It's not about you making money. All right. So you gotta see how they're going to rig the game, and you also always gotta keep in mind the amount of information these people are keeping in their heads. Hey, Blue 6 is just joining us out there in the chat room. Welcome aboard, Blue 6. This is Jack. Blue 6, hey man, what's going on there? I hope you're doing good. I'd send you some email. I don't know why you're up. Go back to sleep. I'm early out here because Forex markets open up very early in the morning. So we're out here. We're talking to those people in Europe, the ones in Europe. I don't know if I got your email. I have not looked at my emails today. But I did send you some email, and an email. I don't know if you've seen it yesterday. I sent you one. I think it was yesterday, day for yesterday. So check it out. Make sure you read it before you make any commentaries here. Okay. You need to check out that email. So I did see an email that you sent me. I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday. I read it, and then I replied, and you should read that before you do commentary here. So anyway, what are we doing here? I lost 17 Ks. Oh man, wow, wow, wow. Blue Six is telling me he lost 17 Ks on his 401k. Wow, that sucks. Oh man, that's bad. That is really bad. I'm sad to hear that, people, man. I mean, I know those people out there. I mean, Blue Six here. I know he's been a follower for different channels that I have, and he's has. That's it's a big blow for for people that are struggling. I'll say Blue Six, but there are people out there that have they're little tight in finances, and your retirement just like going away. So, but it may recover. You gotta have a little hope here, Blue Six. The situation could change on 2024. All right, we could actually get a White House where the proper people will get in there and really start paying attention to American investors and the needs of America, and we can once again start getting upwards on it, start moving in an upward trend here. Okay, so you got okay. I'm not gonna. You're doing okay there on your 401k, but still, man, that's a lot of money you lost today. Sad to hear that, man. But today we're covering forex markets. All right, this is the topic of the show today, and I'm also gonna be trading some forex. As you see, I have the euro map there. I do when I trade forex markets. I usually do not do 1 hour shorts. Unless I'm looking for something, but normally I'm not going to do 15 minutes or 1 hour short or 30 or 2 hour short. I'm really looking at 4 hour shorts. Usually that is the cycle that they're on. And when I say they are, I'm talking about the super bankers. All right, these big cats. They're on this forex. They're like pretty much they manipulate on and off, but they make their bigger moves through the daily short or the 4 hour short. It's when they make their move. All right. Let's see. Somebody said, "Thank you. Make that way I can." Something with Blue Six was telling me here. But going back to we're looking at. So today I wanna see what shorts. I got a lot of forex that I gotta go through here. Blue Six. A lot of shorts that I gotta go through. So we're gonna have to let's see if I can narrow it down today to maybe a possible trade today. Now remember for you people who are beginning, forex market is 24 hours when it opens up. All right, so it runs 24 hours, and then there you have the Asia market, you have the Euro markets, and the U.S. market, which are the big ones. All right, when they open up and they close, they also are some volatility at the beginning, at the open of these markets and at the closest market. Now today there is no U.S. market being up, so this is going to be some twisted volatility today. So that's not it's going to affect in some ways the market, but in different ways, because it's strange ways. So let me go start looking at some of the forex here, you guys. I'm not going to be going through the green short there. I have another short to the side here because I have several shorts open up right now, and you're only on the green short. This is the one that I use to explain to you where we're going with all this. All right, right now you're looking at the euro short and you're looking at the 1 hour short, but I don't want to do the 1 hour short. Let me see if I can change over from that 1 hour short. For right now, we're going to go over to the 4 hour short. If you guys are a beginner on this, hey, open up the shorts, have your own shorts along with me and follow along. You may learn something here. Let me see. Let me go over here to the, I want to change that from that 4 hour short, from that, oh yeah, it's on the 4 hour. I thought it was on the 1 hour. It's on the 4 hour. Was it on the 4 hour short? Confusing. Why is this? Oh, okay, I see what it's done. Yeah, it is on the 4 hour short. I don't know why I thought it was not on the 4 hour short, but it is on the 4 hour short. All right, so we're gonna leave it there for now on that short. All right, because I'm gonna go in search of something that I think may have some stuff here. All right, the euro, you can see that it is up a little bit. Up, it has been sliding down. All right, we're not looking at. A lot of people look at these. At the popular pairs, the Euro US, the Canadian, the US and Canada, and this kind of, they look at the more popular pairs of forex markets. But there are some opportunities there on the less popular pairs, and you can still get into those markets and try to make some money. All right, so let me go and see if I can go over there. So I'm gonna pull over here to the. Let me see. Okay, 1 second. All right, I'm actually right now scanning some possibilities on my own stuff here to see what we can get. Okay, let's look at here. Now, the forex markets can sometimes move in tantrum, where certain pairs will move together, and other pairs will go up. They like there's two sides of it. There's one, certain pairs will move up, and certain pairs will move down, and they actually kind of work. And sometimes they'll work against each other, and that's the way it is. All right, so let me see where we're at here. If there's any possibility of trying to make a little bit on the today's forecast, I see a possibility on the New Zealand. Let me pull up the New Zealand chart so you guys can see. Let me pull up there. I may see a possibility on that one. So I'm gonna pull up the New Zealand. Actually is the New Zealand Swiss chart. This is one of those uncommon pairs. All right, New Zealand Swiss charts. It's not the New Zealand U.S. New Zealand Swiss charts. All right, that's what we're pulling up here. All right, Swiss franc. Let me go and see if I can pull that one up here. All right, just give me a second. All right. I'm going to pull that one. Then I'll explain to you what's going on with that one. But I see a possibility there on that chart. Okay, what I see on here, on the New Zealand's, this is the 4-hour chart. All right, right along here, I'm actually looking at, all right, right about here, we're looking at a resistance on this chart. All right, and it's beginning to hit resistance on there. All right, so you may see a bounce back on there at this time. The problem with a lot of this stuff is a lot of forex market is manipulated by news. All right, always make sure you look at news, see what's going on before you make your final decision on what you want to do. I don't, I'll pay attention to much news because I know they're playing games all the time with the news. It's pump and dump with them, and they put out news just to pump and dump your forex. You can say the forex market. So right now, what you're looking at here is the resistance developing right up there. Is what you're looking at. But let me see if that's the heavy resistance, because I don't see it that way. I don't see the, oh no, that is not the heavy resistance that I was looking at. All right, it's still resistance. There is secondary. There, I do have another indicator, another one that I see. These indicators are my indicators. They're not somebody else's indicators. These are the ones I put together for myself. I tweaked them. I changed them around. It could be a regular indicator, but I'm changing things around that I want to improve in them. And there's stuff that you're not going to see. Those I don't provide those indicators out to the public. These people always looking for an advantage on how to feed their algorithms new information on how people are beating them, and I don't want to help them out. All right, enough is enough. I think it's time that the investor starts beating these big institutional banks and these huge investment, you could say, firms or whatever you want to call them. They need to be. We need to be able to take them on and start making some money and stop being a part of their little game to be used up by them as some kind of cattle that they can steer one way or the other. All right. So right now we're looking at a couple of things that it shows me that up here we have a resistance. There's a couple of things that's showing me right off the bat that we have resistance. We're looking at the 4-hour chart here, and I want to go over to the 1-hour chart to see what the 1-hour chart. I'm actually going to go over to the 15-minute chart to see what it's doing on the 15-minute chart on here. Okay. We are in the 15-minute chart here. Let me change it over my other side. Well, this is the. Oops, I'm sorry. We're also looking at the wrong pair. Let me get you, because I changed my pair on I didn't change the pair on this one. But it's pretty much similar to the Euro pair, the Euro US pair. It's almost identical. Okay, that's the Swiss franc. The New Zealand franc pair. Okay, there you go. It's pretty much the same. It's almost the same. All right, so this is the 15-minute chart on there. that we're looking at here. I also want to go look at another chart because I want to. Sometimes the problem with these what they call them exotic pairs. All right, when you have these uncommon pairs, they usually call it exotic pairs. The spreads can be quite large on these pairs. All right, so you got to be careful with the spreads because they try to burn you with the spreads. All right, let me see because I'm trying to actually find in my other one if it's a feasible spread or not. And that's not bad. I got on my stuff. I see a spread about 5.6, 5.8. It's changing. It's not a bad spread, but I have another indicator that's not showing. It's showing that it's half there on resistance. All right, so we're looking at. Let me go back there. So the spread's not that bad on there. You're depending on your broker. Depends on the. Some of you might not even have a spread. Some might be a broker out there that actually not even offer. It doesn't even have a spread. But they're, for the most part, that's what they make the money from the spread. All right. So let me go. The 15-minute chart right now. 15-minute chart compared to a 4-hour chart, it can be completely opposite, completely different because it sees it from a total different thing. Okay, so. Let me go to 45 minutes on that chart. It's still showing upwards, but it's running into everything up here is resistance. It's running into that resistance up there. All right, let me go to a 1-hour chart here. All right, it's even though you will say, well, it's moving up, yeah, but it's running into a resistance, running into a roof. All right, and then we'll go back to the 4-hour chart. I see we're running into down here. It ran into a resistance down here. All right, let me get my. Let me pull this back over here where I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, over here, it actually ran into a resistance. Not a resistance, a support level. It was down there. So I ran into the support level. It bounced off the support level and went up, and now it's going to possibly be hitting this resistance. So let me go look at the. Now you guys are gonna have to keep up with me because I'll be changing between charts. I'll be going possibly from a 4-hour chart to a 15-minute chart and back and forth. All right, but before you invest, you gotta have to get a graph to where is the trend heading, and which direction. Also, what are you looking at? Are you looking at long-term investment, or you're looking at as just a small investment there for one or 2 days? All right, so that's another thing. And forex markets can be very volatile on the first 24 hours it opens up. All right, and it starts to stabilize sometime tomorrow, possibly close to where the U.S. markets are going to open up. It begins to kind of stabilize, and then you have you could say the big boys come. Then not the big boys, more like the Wall Street people start coming in. It kind of starts to stabilize, but globally it's up and down all over the place at the beginning of the first 24 hours. It opens up. So. We are right now looking at, let me pull over here to the, let me go to the 1 hour. Now it's going to go here. Okay, we're still running into that 1 hour there, on there. Let me see, blue 6. Yeah, okay. That was blue 6. I don't know, blue 6, I think blue 6 went back to sleep. I got to get some contents on this program, on this show, because we're starting getting going here on this investment platform, you could say, investment channel. So we're getting some content, and I'm coming here at different hours, and I'm doing different shows. I'm doing some of the crypto. I'm doing forex, stock market, and different other type of investment vehicles. You'll see me doing different things. I will say when you look at this thumbnail, look at the day, what I'm doing that day. Okay, like today I'm doing the forex, and about a day ago I was doing the crypto market. Okay, so I'll be doing different things. Maybe in one day I'll be doing a couple of different shows, different things. Okay, but that all depends. And what's good is you get in here, and if you're not, and I'm not telling you you should follow what I'm doing if I'm going to invest or not. That should be up to you. That what you want to do there. I'm just giving you. I'm telling you where something may be at, and there might be a possibility of getting in and then making some short money there. I'm not going to go into there, and I'll tell you this is how this is going to look like in a year from now, or 6 months from now, or 4 months, or anything like that. I'm basically getting in there, and because I'm pretty much going along with what the crowd wants. The crowd wants to make some money, in a couple of minutes and get out. you could say in some ways, in a day or two. But that they're not. A lot of people are not long-term investors like they used to. They just want to get, and the market's too volatile sometimes to be getting into extreme long-term investment. Anything geopolitical politics can change the markets upside down. And that all depends on who is in the White House can do some big effects on U.S. markets. And you can have a huge, a year of great stuff and a terrible, and all of a sudden it could turn around on you and really take a dump, and you can be really out in the doghouse. All right, so anyway, going back over here, we're at the New Zealand Swiss franc is where we're at right now. And I was telling you that we have run into some resistance up here. There is a support level down here, and then the resistance is up here. Is where it's at. Let me get you the support level so you know what the support level is at. All right, this is support levels right here. Now, here's the thing about it. All right, there are a couple indicators that's showing me there is a support level up there. All right, and then we have to look. Here's what we got to do. We're gonna have to look at the other indicators. I mean, at the other time slots. We'll look at the 2 hour here. 2 hour pretty much it's in the same spot. And then we go to 4 hours. Okay. It doesn't mean it's not going to continue to go up. Right now, the way I see it, all right, let me bring in I got to look at my stuff, because if I don't, this stuff here is not giving me what I want. This chart is only for me to present to you what I'm looking at, but it's not. Doesn't have any indicator that tells me anything. I have my own indicators that I had to, do things to. Okay, Blue Six, you have a good night and a great 4th of July, and maybe we'll see you back here later on today. Don't forget to read that email that's in. Anyway, have a good one, and God bless. Going back over here to the situation. Okay, let me see here, because I'm looking at one of my main indicators. Okay, I have one of my indicators, which is the one that there's several indicators, and you have to, like I said, those are mine. Now, I don't mess around with other people's stuff. I mean, I put my own stuff together. I learned from the hard way, you could say, not to trust other people's indicators in any form or shape. All right. What I see now, believe it or not, even though it's hitting that resistance, one of my indicators, the strong one, is telling me this is probably going to go sideways, or it's going to head up even further up. It may start going up. All right, so that's what we're looking at here. All right, for the next, let me see what period we're at. This is the 15-minute one. Let me see if I can change over and see what the 1 hour tells me. There you go. Okay, the 1 hour is telling me the same thing. And let me see if I go to my 4 hour one. And the 4 hour one is, here's the thing about the 1 hour and the 4 hour are beginning to indicate, here's what it is, they're beginning to indicate sideward movement. All right, they're beginning to tell me that it is running into a resistance up here. All right, and it's even showing that it may go up, so you may see it go up a little higher here, but you may start seeing there's in percentage possibilities, this is the way I'll put it right now, sideward movement right now in percentage possibility. I will say it will be a good, I could say a good 60% chance that it starts to move now sideways. All right, because it's just beginning. When you're going sideways, it's basically 50-50. All right, but I'm giving you a 60% chance that it could move sideways, then downwards. All right, this is what we have here on the New Zealand Swiss franc, and this is what I've been looking at. Some of the other currencies are kind of in line with the same thing. What I'm looking at, one of the reasons I'm looking at the New Zealand Swiss franc, all right, is because of this. All right, I'm going to show you more or less what I'm looking at here. Let me bring it down so you guys know what I'm doing. Here we go. Here is one of the reasons I'm looking at this. That is what I'm looking at. All right. That has been on a downslide for quite a while now. All right, and that means it's built up. It's got a trend don't try to go to don't try when you're doing with forex markets. Don't try to go against the grain. Okay, you're probably gonna get burned a lot of times if you try to go against the grain. All right. Now there will be time with all this will change, and instead of going down, you may just have upward movement that doesn't stop. I mean, just continues to go up, 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 up. You know, you gotta watch out. This is where you have economic news, and sometimes you gotta watch this. But what we got here, well, the way I see it is the trim has been quite a while has been going. Let me see how far this trim goes. The trend on a downwards, it goes. I'm trying to find a date when the last time it. Oh man, this thing is going back, 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 back. Okay, I see that the it kind of started around March 20, around March 22, around there. That's when it started. I'm just giving around the mid March. The trend started to show downwards. Previous to that, from the beginning of the year up to March, it was going. There was an upward trend that was moving up. It was moving in the Swiss, the New Zealand dollar and the Swiss franc was that pair was actually moving up. Now the trend is a trend that is downwards. All right, it tried to see. It seems like it tried to push a little bit of recovery there. I mean, not recovery, but a upward push around June, around the mid June, early June, you could say, and then it started to die out, and now we still have this downtrend. All right. And unless some really fantastic news comes out, here's the thing about it. Remember that the news is only a lot of the news is being put out as little gimme news, little crappy news. It's mainly out there to either to manipulate. It's these super bankers manipulating markets. A lot of times is what it is. All right, and they know that some news can move it, so they give you all these idiotic economic news. All right, and what it is them just manipulating markets. All right, so the trend now is what we're looking at. We're looking at this trend here. All right, we're looking at a downward trends. All right, you can see here's a good example where it went up and it hit right up there. It hit support, and then up here it hit a support level, and then up here it hit a support level, and over here it went sideways for a couple of days, for a while. I don't know how long this is. We're on the 4-hour chart. I believe this is the 4-hour chart. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, this is the 4-hour chart. So it went sideways for probably about a couple of days there. It went sideways, and then again it started to go down the trend. Then it came back up here, went sideways a little bit, and now it's been going up for several hours. We're looking at about a day now. About a day here, it's been moving up, and now it's beginning to hit the other resistance level up there. Okay, let me look at where we're at here. I'm looking at my other stuff, not what you guys are seeing, and see what we're seeing. Looking at possible sideward motion here. All right, that's what we're looking at here. We're going to see how, as the other candlesticks develop. Let me go look at the 1 minute, not the 1 minute, the 15-minute candlestick to see what's it doing. Okay, candlestick. Okay, as you can see, it's still running into that one resistance level there. All right, and we're going to see how that candlestick opens up there. The next 15-minute candlestick opens up, and what's it going to do there? I don't like the 5-minute. I don't really get into that. It's just, okay, you see that. You can get into the 5-minute once if you want, but you see where the 5-minute, it's just bouncing off that top. All right, it's like boom, 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 bouncing. That's just 5-minute chart. So the 15-minute chart, you're going to see possibly a sideward movement there on the 15-minute chart. All right. Now, like I said, my stuff, my software, my indicators, the ones that I got, showing me that there's a sideward movement coming up, and that's, like I said, I put that stuff together myself. That's not from other people, and it's showing me that there's a possibility of things going sideways. Is where it's going to go to. All right, how long is it going to stay sideways? It's hard to say. All right, it could go there for only a couple hours, and it could then start to come down. Here's the thing about it. If it starts to move sideways and some stuff does come in line, All right, then you can say, well, then for me, I will say this is a good time to get in, all right, and start to shorten the that pair, because it's going to end up coming down. All right. Right now, I wouldn't go into it just yet, because we don't know if it's going to try to break through that resistance. But the resistance is pretty good. It's a pretty good resistance on there, the way I see it from my side. It has a very good resistance. That's why I put it right there, and you can see where it's just playing games there. All right. But still, there are some stuff that I'm monitoring. All right, that does not that shows me sideways motion on there, and sideways motion is when you kind of hold back, and you have to wait a little bit, because sideways motion could go anyway. You could, even though I'm putting it more like a 60% chance that it will begin to fall from that point. 60%, no, not 100%. Not, it's more like a 60 right now. So it's just because of the sideways motion that it's indicating. So we might be seeing that there on the Swiss bank. Now you notice I have not talked about news, and I haven't talked about heads and shoulders or wedges or anything like that. I'm not into none of that. That stuff is all manipulation by these bankers. All right, I'm looking at the hardcore stuff. I'm looking at where is it running to. All right, and then I have to begin to, you could say, their mindset, get into their mindset of what they want to do next with this. Now we know that it's been falling now for a bit here, for a couple of months here, it's been falling. All right, so is this the day that they decide to pump up the Swiss, this pair, to pump it back, to pump it up, you could say, and just push it up. All right, because they're going to be pushing up other pairs up, so we got to watch out. All right, and it is a day where the U.S. stock market is not open. All right, so these people, of course, they're making money out of both directions. They make money out of when they pump it up and when they pump it down. But the thing is, they set themselves up for the pump. They're the ones who control the market. You don't control anything. You're just along for the ride, and you kind of have to. You may end up knowing the market. The only thing is you're really gonna do is try to figure them out. What are they gonna do next? All right. So this is when you're gonna have some of the spectacular news that they come up with sometimes just to screw around the market. All right. So right now everything just it's just showing to me that this is this is more likely a sideward motion going there for coming up in the next 30 minutes. Or you can see sideward motion. So we'll look at the 5-minute. The 5-minute one is just showing the early start here to the sideward motion. I don't look at much at the 5-minute one, but as you can see going sideways, and you begin to see a small. Let me try, because this is. Let me get here a little bit here tighter here. Now this is the 5-minute chart we're looking at. I don't like looking too much at 5-minute chart. If you're gonna get into investment, you gotta go a little bit longer. But you have to look at pretty much at all charts just to get an idea of something early. Like this right now, the 5-minute one is showing an early start to the sideward motion here. All right, so it is bouncing off that resistance level up there. All right. So it looks like now you're going to see. Here's the thing about it. A couple of days ago, I was talking about crypto. All right, and I was doing one of these charts on crypto, and I was telling people you got to watch out, because they'll throw in the scare tactic, the one to scare the living yang out of you, and there will be one of these candlesticks making some crazy moves all the way down, and then you have a long wick, and this is basically a scare tactic. Call it the scare stick. The stick will scare the crap. It's meant to get you to move in the other direction. Not to get you to. It's to get people to dump what they hold, and also it will trigger. It may end up triggering some people's accounts. Some of the stuff that they have out there to sell and get rid of. So they know about it. So they play the game. Right now, there's people. In different parts of the world, who are these heavy investors. These are institutions with into the billions of dollars, and they're behind the chart. They're behind the desk right now, seeing how they're going to manipulate this. And there are countries involved, and there's all kind of people. You're just the average investor is nothing. It's just you're there just to help them move the market up one way or the other. That's all it is. Even if you're somebody who has invested, $1 million or $2 or $3 million, you're still nothing compared to these people. These people are investing billions of dollars. All right. I don't know if it goes into the billions, but they're investing big bucks, all right, in here. And they're the real investors. They're the real movers of the Forex market. All right, they manipulate this market up and down 24/7, you can say in some ways. Not 24/7, but 20, at least, 24 hours a day when it's up. So now you're seeing the move there, and that's giving that, since I told you about 15, 20 minutes ago, I told you there's a sideways motion coming up here. All right, and then it's running into averages. So you're going to continue to see this going sideways. And now, like I said, there's a possibility of a will drop. All right, I don't think, it might not be the drop right now. What you may have is it'll come down here and maybe bounce off, test the resistance level again. It's not really a test. It's them playing games with you. And then it'll come down. But in the long run, what you may be looking at here is when it starts to drop and just drop. All right. And it may come back down to the support level down here, and then break through the support level. All right, that might be for something for tomorrow. All right, they like to break through the support levels when the U.S. stock market is open. Either they like to break through the resistance levels or the support levels, but they like to do a lot of this stuff when the main markets are open, when all the markets are open up. This is when they make more money off it. All right, when the markets are on a holiday, or some countries on holiday, like the UK is on holiday, Europe is on holiday, or the US is on holiday, they just kind of play your little sideways motion stuff here, a little bit of game that they play, because they themselves are on holidays. Also, they themselves go on holiday, you could say, and they don't do a lot of stuff there. So they do twit around with their some of the stuff with their algorithms, and they got some other stuff they put it on automatic, but mainly it's shaky. And when they have a major market on holiday. All right, so we're still watching to see what it's going to do here. All right, to see if it's going to head in the direction. Now, here's the thing about Forex, which I find interesting, is you can get in. You can either go long or go short on Forex. All right, and you can make some money when it goes up and make some money when it goes down. Okay, other markets are a little difficult when you do this, and there are you could say not politics, but there are rules in place in a lot of these exchanges on shortening something or something along, you could say, along those lines, and some of them require deposits and all this kind of stuff. But Forex, there's a couple of companies up there. I'm not going to tell you the names of the company, and nobody's sponsoring me at this point in time, you could say. So I'm not going to tell you, but and if they want to sponsor me, then I'll tell you a good name. I'll give you a good recommendation of a company, but but they're not doing that, so I'm not going to say anything. But there are some out there that they do a pretty fair job in allowing you to put some money in and then go short on it, and a pretty fair spread rate. All right, that's another thing you got to watch out for, the spread rates. All right, on this. So as you can see, it continues to go sideways here. All right, and yeah, it did hit the resistance level. Now, nobody told me, hey, there's a resistance level. You got to know charts. You got to know how to, like I said, my stuff is telling me. All right, and you could have come, wait, what about resistance? I would have told you no. I would, if you would have asked me, is this a resistance level? According to my stuff, I would have told you no, that's not a resistance level. I'll tell you that's a low resistance right there. So what you got here, this in itself is not even an extreme high resistance level. The resistance level for this currency is way up here. Okay, but this is still one that you can work for if you want to go a whole short-term investment, you could say. Now it may start doing now, because here's the thing. All right, let me see if I can put it up there. This is so damn high, it's pathetic. Let's see. I'll try to get it to you so you know where I'm at here. All right. The big resistance, the more hardcore resistance is way up here. All right, that's where it's at. All right, that's where you're going to have. This is where there is some. It seems to be some good resistance of where the price has been moving for the year, and not being able to pass that level, you could say. All right. So, but for the year, it has been dropping. All right. No, doesn't mean it's going to go up to now. No, I don't think so. I think what you may be looking at here is it's still going to be dealing with this one here, and it's because it's creating a new level of resistance. Is what it's creating. All right, so I'm going to get it here. I can't shorten this one anymore. Let me just go to a longer chart here. A 1 hour chart here. All right, here we go. Now as you can see, this is basically in line with this. Is where it's at. It's like around here. It's what you see in this resistance. This is the bigger one. All right, that's because it goes back through the year. All right, but it started to fall there around the middle of March. It started to fall and came down. Let me see. It's around the middle. There's the middle. What we got? Middle of March. Here? No, that's the other. I'm sorry. We're on the. Let me get you back the bigger map. That's not the other one. I want to get you up to the 4-hour one. Yeah, there it is. That's 90. There. That's the. Here's one that it hit. Where was that today? This is where it started to fall, but then it started to build this one. This is basically the second. You could say. The second attack of our resistance during this year, a major one. All right. The first one came up here, and this is the one I'm talking about. It was around March, towards the around. It was around March. It started. It began around here, and then it came down. It hit all this, and then now we're looking at this one here. I believe this one begins around the middle of June, a little early June, and then that builds up on there. So it builds up, I say, another one for the year. You could say, all right, and now you can see where it sharply has dropped. All right, so it's way down here. We're looking at the 4-hour chart here on this. And let me see if we can go to the 1 year. So let's see what we're doing for. We'll go for about the weekly chart here. It's all over the place. Yeah, it's been falling for quite a while. You look at it, you go back to 2014, you see down, 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 down. The problem is you cannot. A lot of small investors cannot survive these pumps and dumps. Your account will be destroyed. All right. But if you have a heavy hitter and you can take the hits, you can survive some of this. All right. And survive some of this downfall here. Look from 2016, you can see down, down, down. It's been way down here, and then it got a little bounce here, and it went back up around. That was about 2020, 2021. All right, and now you see where it's down here again. All right, now there is some big resistance. This was the. If you go down around 2019. It's still not even there. It's you look at it, it's not even in the middle there. All right, but if you're ever doing this, if you're actually ever getting into this and it starts to hit this area down here, just you gotta watch out because it could be a bouncer. All right, they may not allow it to go further down anymore. All right, so these big time institutions, the big bankers will start pushing it up. All right. For right now, they're still in the. They themselves are still in the safe zone to play games with it, to pump and dump, pump and dump, pump and dump, and they're making money throughout the entire year. All right. But as they continue possibly to bring it down, they're gonna then have to come up. What they're gonna do with this? Are they gonna blow through it? And they may not do that. There's huge investment out there, and they may do is just bounce off as though you can play around this. But when you look at these major stuff, when you're looking at this kind of stuff. These kind of ranges that go on, they started off about a year ago, 2 years. This one like 2019, all right. When it hits these long-term resistance, or these resistance that were long time ago will reach, and they cause a big barrier. You can say, well, look at the move from there to there, and the move from there to there, and then and here it looks like it tried to come back to the level of 2019. On this one, it looks like it was trying to pump its way back up there, but they shut it up. They shut that down, and they started moving it back down. So here's what it is. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to reach it. It can reach here, 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 anywhere in here, and they can stop and push it back the other way. Remember, that's the way they're making money. All right, but in the long term, because going back to 2013, it's been slowly coming down. All right, so is this the year that they're going to bust through here, through the support level and go down? It's hard to say. It could be next year, but in the meanwhile, they're going to be playing this game here. All right, is what they're going to be playing. So you got to keep an eye on it. Sometimes you have to go back, further back, kind of figure it out. But if you're in one of those years where it's getting close to one of these main drops, you can see one of these that has put the trend for a couple of years, the ones that has set the trend for a couple of years, either upwards or downwards, and you're reaching one of those, that's when you got to be careful, because you don't know if they're going to allow it to break up or down, depending on where that trend hits, and you could get a big surprise. Those people here got a big. I guarantee you, the people that got to this area got a big surprise, and the ones that got out here got a big surprise. If they were not looking at these extreme long term, where the pair has been in the last couple of years. All right, but for the short ones, for what we're doing now, we're looking at the short one here now. Let me get back in there. Okay, we're going to go back here again. Okay, and let me get out of this. We're in a very long week. We're looking at weeks here. You see the weeks here. This is a weekly. You can see in the last how many weeks it has been dropping. All right. You know, it all looks good there, but when you go up to the 4-hour ones, and it starts looking, it can be very bad for your pocketbook if you don't know what you're doing. It can really cause a lot of blows, and it could trigger margin calls on your account if you cannot bear the up and down. Even though it's trending, you may put it, oh yeah, I'm going to get it to it's weeks and weeks of going down, so I might get it that way, but you may not be able to put up with the movement and how much money that's going to hold. Your account may not be able to survive. I guess what I'm trying to say, and you're not going to be 100% sure if that's not the week they decide to move it up. So you got to watch what you're doing there. So we're here. We're still on the 4th. I like to do. Me personally, I like to if I get into the investment of this currency, I look at 4-hour charts a lot of time if I'm going to get in, because I know they're going to be just messing with you with those smaller time frames, and that one you can. The average investor should be who has a okay amount of money for invest, can do a 4-hour chart. I can possibly get away with a 4-hour chart and trend on it for the not trend, but know which way the trend's going to go. I get an idea. Now it's very hard, and I'm almost making it sound easy. This is not easy. It is very hard to figure out forex markets, and it's because of these institution investors and these super banks that at any minute they could screw you up. All right. Here's the thing about it. Some of these investors know there are people like me out there that understand this market. And we're tracking the support levels, and we're tracking the resistance level. So and then there's the public out there. A lot of the people out there who they know what they're looking for, the signs that they're looking for. So they create in some ways they create artificial signs. They'll create what people, oh look, there's a head and shoulders. Oh look, there's a wedge. Oh look, and they're creating this for you. They create the market environment for you, and it's a trap. It's a trap to get you to go in one direction or the other, but they already have set up where they want to be at. They have gotten into the market at a time where they squeeze it down or squeeze it up, and then they get into it, and then they get ready to go short or long by getting you to go one way or the other. Again, they will benefit them, not you. Benefit them. Remember, they don't care about you. I'm going to tell you, none of these bankers and none of these institution investors give a crap about you. They only care about themselves and their billions of dollars and the people they represent. That's all they care about. You're just there as a vehicle to push the market up and down. That's all it is for them, and to continue to get new, fresh money into the market. That's all it is. It's fresh money into the market, and every year, I will estimate thousands and thousands of people lose all their money in forex markets and all the other investment markets. Just cleaned out. Bank accounts completely cleaned up, or you could say accounts on these. They open up an account with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and it's gone in a very short period on these markets. All right, so you got to be extremely wise how to get in here, how to also money manage your money. If not, you're going to have some big problems here. All right, I'm not going to be out here every day telling you, hey, there's a resistance over here. The resistance that I'm showing you may not even show up anywhere with you, or you may actually be seeing, you're not ignoring. You may actually think it's one of the regular ones. Then I'm showing you stuff that a lot of people ain't going to see here. All right, they're not gonna recognize a lot of this stuff. All right, I got multiple layers of. It's like I tell people it's like predicting a hurricane. You don't go with just one software, one program to predict where the hurricane is going to make a landfall. All right, you may use multiple programs, 10, 20 programs, and then you have to try to bring down the percentage of which are the ones who are agreeing. The percentage that is agreeing the most may be the ones going to be correct, but even that might not be right. All right, so let me look at here what's been doing on the last 5 minute shorts. Sideways. I can tell you it's sideways. My indicator's been showing the one that I use, the ones that I can see like my stuff, is showing sideways motion. It's showing what it's going to be a sideways, and that's actually showing. And my stuff is actually showing it on a 4-hour chart and showing it on a 15-minute chart, showing it across the board. They were looking at sideways motion here for now. All right, now there will come a time. The thing is, I'm not on the air all the time, but there will come a time where I'll tell you, you know what, it's time to get in. I mean, I will get in at this point in time because I see there's a change that will be with one of my stuff. And then that will be the proper time to get in. If you got in now, you're going to be dealing with this volatility of sideways, very short sideways. And you can see where the volume is low on the trading here. I don't know why my volume doesn't show up. It was down there before. Where the heck is it? It doesn't show there. It was there before. Alright. Let me see something. Maybe it's on the 4-hour chart. No, it's not there. I gotta get that volume back up in there. Anyway, let me go back to the 5 minutes. So here's where it's at. This is where you got the whole thing going there. It's right in there. Alright. And like this one is like very high. This is here. It's a pretty strong, we could say a pretty strong resistance level that's going to hit. And it hit it today. And let me see what they're doing on the 4-hour, not one. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. See if they're bouncing. If they're going to start bouncing, they may end up bouncing it a couple times there. All right. And they also got people trained. And I tell this to people: you're trained. You're being trained by them for years. Any people attending seminars of these investment clubs or investment people that put these seminars up, you're basically being trained like a dog for these big cats. All right. Remember, they got the data. They know what you're doing. They even know what you're doing on your own screen. All right. Sometimes. All right. They have algorithms that trace all this. They're not going to. Of course, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of investors. They're not going to be on every single person's screen, but the data is being fed back to them, and then their algorithm starts to create a picture for them of which is where the people, what the people are looking for, and what they're interested in, and where they're interested in putting a limit call, and where they're interested in taking profit, and so on and so on. And all of that is an advantage for them. All right, it's an advantage for them to take over you, and then they make the money, you lose the money because they sold the stuff before you had a chance to even make a profit because they were looking at other stuff out there, and you're screwed. And then top of that, once they start to sell in a major way, of course, they drove the market down and you lost and they won. All right, or the vice versa. They will go the other way and they start selling, buying at a certain level, and you put down that you wanted to go short and you ended up being screwed because you wanted to sell, you wanted to go short, and they screw you on that side. This is the way they always work. All right, they, like I said, they don't care about you or me or anybody. They only care about how much money they're going to suck out of the market that day. That's the only thing they care, and it's all being. If you take away all their data, that they're collecting on the people around the entire world, on all these charts and all this stuff that's being put out there. All right, and all that data is coming to them to know if they're going to go long or if somebody wants to go long or short. You take away all that, they couldn't figure it out. And the market will be run actually by the people. The people will be the ones moving the market up and down. They're never going to allow that. There's too much. This is a cash cow for them. Some people say that they want to replace our money with some kind of global currency. No, this is too much of a cash cow for them. The forex market is huge money for them. What they'll do is they'll introduce a global currency. Instead of being like a euro where they represents European, you can use the euro in all the European countries, there will be a currency Basically, the global currency is a currency to replace the dollar. The dollar right now is the global currency. All right. But they want to come up. Of course, these people from another part of the world, you could say, not from the U.S. part of the world, but they want to be the big dogs. They don't want the dollar no longer to move other currencies. They want to bring a new. They're going to put out a new propaganda saying there is a global currency. The fad is going to be the global currency. Where the young people should move to is the global currency, and then they're going to push for every country around the world to get the global currency. And the way they're going to do that is by giving out loans to a lot of third world countries and get them to sign on the global currency, and then push countries, and especially like in the Middle East where they use the petrodollar, to go with a global currency. The Chinese are trying to get into this, but these powers to be, which are more powerful than the Chinese when it comes to money, all right, they know what China's up to, so they want to beat China out, and trying to push this yuan, and they're going to push in the global currency. Okay, and they're going to use that to replace the petrodollar, where they have to pay in the Middle East, where you end up buying a lot of oil. You use these petrodollars to buy fuel, and the U.S. dollars is what it is. And they'll go with the global currency. All right, so they're going to be pushing that. They're starting to you could say test the waters on the talk of global currency, but that's usually because they have already built some massive amount of, you could say, of information, and they already done a massive amount of research and a lot of stuff prepared to start introducing this global currency. So when you hear some prime minister somewhere talking about a global currency, it's because they're planning and putting it out. There's a very high possibility that they will come up with a global currency. It may take a year or 2 or 3, but they'll eventually push it up, the global currency. All right, and like I say, I don't think it's to replace all global currencies. It may end up replacing some countries' currencies, and you may see a future down the road where you only have, who knows, maybe 20 pairs of currency, 13 pairs, something small of currency, and they're going to be using that to make their money because, of course, they're pumping and dumping, and they know people will still be interested in investing in the currency market. All right, and they will be using because of all the algorithms and all the data they're picking up from all these traders online and all these investors, they're able to manipulate that and rip off the public, all right, as much as they want. And it turns into a cash cow for them. So they pump and dump, and because we're having, everybody's, we continue to move our population somewhere. You can say new young people will hit the market, and new capital will hit the market, and those people will get ripped off. So on and on and on. So it just never stops for them. All right, it's just a big giant cash cow for them. Is what it is. And then the people go over here, people go and say, well, I'm going to go to a seminar and learn how to do this. And I'm going to go. Do you ask them about 10 months, later after they invested, did you make any money on the market after you went to that seminar? Well, that's what you're going to hear. And some of these seminars, they put so much stuff out there that they get you more confusing when you win it. All right. But it's a lot of the stuff, it's also been designed by them. It's to train you to look at things, and if you know about heads and shoulders and wedges and all this other stuff that they put out there, and there's so many of these things that you can look at, and all these new indicators, all that, they know about all that. These people study all. They know what you're looking at. They know what they're. And then some of the stuff is great. If you had this right here, right here, you see this right here. And then you have, let's say you had another downward move here, and then you had the same little creation on this side, the same one, but on the opposite side. They'll call that a heads and shoulder. All right? You think they don't know that? So they may be prepared to create this head and shoulder for you. All right? So when you get around here to the end of the head and shoulder, which will be like on this side, but on the opposite side. All right? When you get there, then you go, oh my God, it's going to take a really big dump, and they may actually push it up. So they play around. They play the games. They play the games also with wedges. Let me see if I can show you a classic wedge here. Here's a wedge. This is kind of like a wedge right here. All right, this would be like a wedge right here. All right. Let's see if I can pull that in there. It's not cooperating with much. This is kind of like a classic wedge right here. What you see right here. And then you'll see this happening here. That's like a classic wedge. All right. They know they're looking at it. They know these people who are in these institutions know that you are looking at this. And these cocky people, they think they know about the markets, and all that. Oh, look at this wedge. And it just may be nothing, people. It just may be nothing. It may be something they know, and they know what direction you want to go to, and they'll take a dump on you. And you can see when the wedge happened, what do you see? Way. Huh? That's when that wedge happened. All right. So the person that was picking the wedge today was going to go up. Got the opposite. Those who were picking the wedge was going to go down. Yeah, it did okay, but you can see what happened there, and they will prepare for it. These top institution investors, these super bankers, they knew that you're looking at this, and they knew that that you are planning on this. So they may push it. They may push the wedge. They may trigger this. And a lot of times it's because they will trigger something like this. Some of these big drops, they end up triggering it. So then you go along for the ride. All right. For those who were investing that the currency was going to move up, you got burned. All right. And those who were shorting, well, you probably got something out of it. All right. But they know by you can say they have the data to know how many people are actually trying to move this up, and how many people are trying to move this. So they're going to go with the side that's going to benefit them the most. All right, and then at the right time, you're going to see this. Is what you have. You have a bit of another wedge in here, kind of like a bit of a wedge in there, and you see this movement up here. All right, but that's not what it is. That's not the way. It's them moving it up and down. You just think you might figure something out, but in the long term, you're going to lose your money. I'll be right back right after this. Let me take a small break here, and I'll be right back after this. Let's take a small break. Let me get my break. Where's my break at? Where's the break? Oh man, I moved something around. I moved the bar. Why did I move the bar? Let me take a break when I find my break here. And where's my break? Okay, I'll be right back right after this. Okay, we're back here again. Yeah, well, yeah, just some nice attraction there to, keep you entertained. But I am done, so say goodbye to her. And we're done here for this break. Okay, we're done with the break. And here's the thing I'll be looking at, you guys will look at some of the stuff that they put out there and you'll get some ideas, and sometimes it just doesn't work for you. You lose money. It's meant in some ways. And once people, investors start understanding that you're not alone in your investment, that you are being watched by the big cats, and that your data is part of a pool of data that's flooding these people's, you could say, algorithms, and then make choices for them on which way to pull the market up one day, or up or down, and they're manipulating this up and down 24/7, in some ways 24, not 24/7, but when the market's open. All right. Then you may actually look at it from a different perspective, and you may decide to approach the markets in a different direction. All right. And unfortunately, the stuff that I have, I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Hey, here it is, take it." I'm not gonna put it out there, because they'll have stuff that actually benefits them. All right, and they're out there squeezing the crap out of everybody out there. They're trying to get everything they want to know everything about how you invest, on everybody, on all the experts, and all the little people, everything. And this is to continue to develop their algorithms. All right, till they would basically be screwing you up and giving them the proper information on all this stuff. All right, and the game continues. Let me go back. Let me see. I'll open up this up again. I actually closed the mark. Let me go look up, because some of you guys may be right now for this that we're looking for. Like I said, it's sideways motion. You're looking at the. All right, let me hang on a second, because I closed it up. You're looking at sideways motion here happening here, and I'm on the 5-minute chart, right? Let's see. I thought it was on 5 minutes. Actually, I mean the 1 hour chart. Let me go to 5 minutes, and we'll be looking. See the 5 minute. Sideways. That's how it is. It's just sending it sideways, and they're not creating a wedge here for right now. They're just creating a sideways motion, is what they're creating here. All right, and you're running into that resistance up here, is what you're running into. All right, and now they're going to contemplate. They're going to see what benefits them the most. Okay, and I'm talking about the heavy institution and the super banks that manipulate this stuff. All right, and they're going to decide if they're going to send this. Let me move this out here. You guys seen what happened there? So you guys maybe never even noticed that wedge. Oh my God! Look, you're right. Hang on. I want to dump this thing. Get this line out of here. Why isn't it giving it to me? Here we go. Get rid of that. Maybe I'll use this one so I keep it around. Alright. Going back to what I'm looking at. And let me see the short term. For my kind of indicators and my stuff that I put together, I usually don't like extreme short stuff like 5 minutes, and almost like maybe from 15 minutes and up. We'll see what on the 15 minutes. See if we get anything. Usually I don't mess around with that. Yeah, it's just showing. It's still showing like a sideways motion there. Alright, it's hitting that resistance level up there still. Alright, it's basically right now. The way what it's doing is bouncing off that resistance level right there. Is what it's doing. Alright, and it's probably going to continue to. Freaking line! What in the hell happened to my line? It's like, where's the end of this thing? Let me get rid of this. The line is like insane long. Alright. Let me bring out this short dude here. There you go. Resistance is right up here. On this. And that's what you see it doing. Some people that don't understand this market, especially beginners, like, why in the heck is it stuck there so long? Why doesn't it move up? Well, you're hitting a resistance is. First of all, the resistance is made by them, the super bank, the institution. They made it. They're designing on what to take the market and which way they're gonna take this market. All right. Then comes the little people, okay, who then, for whatever reason, have said, they may not be putting the buys anymore, and there may not be a lot of people out there who are interested in buying this at this rate anymore. All right, so nobody wants to go beyond that price. All right. That's the little people. That's the smaller investor. Now you could be invested into $2 or $3 million in here. I'm going to call you a little person because that's what you are compared to them. You're nothing with that kind of money. So you go in there and you run into this wall. You run into this and you say, well, and the longer it stays there, it kind of creates a psychological, you could say, effect on the persons, on people that invest. They start wondering, hey, something's up here. Maybe we should hold off, and more people hold off. And then sometimes you'll see that, and what it is that you might have news coming up. I don't see any real news coming up there. I don't see anything on my side of any news coming up there. All right. So what you have there is just people, and you have the institution investors and the big banks holding it off there, deciding what they're going to do next. If they're going to create a breakthrough, an upward breakthrough, or they're going to bring it back down again. All right. So they're also going. Remember, they're crunching numbers as people around the world send in their data for hold, or they want to put limit calls, or different things that they do on their the data that they do on their platforms. So they're now crunching the numbers on which direction, but it's going to move. It will move one way or the other. Indications right now that it's going to move down. That's the indication I see. All right, that it's going to be a downward movement from that resistance. All right, they may not decide. They may not push that over, being that it's not the full markets are not open. All the markets are not open. The U.S. market is closed. All right, they may wait for tomorrow to push it over this, and then they'll bring it back down. So they may just come down here today, mess around down here, and then push it back up, and then maybe tomorrow they'll push it back up here, and then bring it down. So we got to be careful because we may be seeing the beginning of where they decided that it's gone far enough down, and now they want to start giving it upward motion here, upward trend. Okay, they could go for about a month or something. It all depends on what they want to do. All right, but for the meanwhile, for the time right now, all right, this is just there. It's just going to do that sideways motion. All right, it's just going to sit there for now on that sideways motion. All right. And it may be there for another hour or two, and maybe there for the whole day. We don't know. It's hard to tell what exactly is going to go. And it's almost like they're having a lunch break. So you gotta look at it like they're taking a long-term lunch break, thinking about what they're going to do. It's them. It's not you who's going to move this. It's them who's going to move it. You're just a vehicle. You're a catalyst to where they want to go to. That's all you are. The catalyst to what they want to do. That's all you are. You're not the ones that are going to move this. All right, it's them who's going to sit there, and they're going to see what they want to do, if they want to go one way or the other. And then they're going to also be looking at the amount of value coming in for investments, and on and on. All right. I'll be right back. I got to take a small break. Got to pick up the phone. Let me see. I'll be right back right after. I'm going to put the girls back on there again. Where the heck did I go in there? There you go. Be right back. Okay, we're back here again. We're back here again. That ended. I have that thing on a loop, I thought. So we're back here again. Let me see where we're at. Okay, so we'll continue it continues to track sideways, and it's probably going to continue to track sideways. You're gonna have to, because I can't be here all day. You're gonna have to continue to watch this. All right, there it is. I am where I put this at. There is a resistance. All right, that I tell you. I'm telling you right now. There's a resistance, but there's also, and top of here for me, there's another resistance. There's close by actually, it's closer than that. There's another one that shows me, and I have another one that shows another resistance in here. So I got several ones that showing resistance here. So if you combine all of them together, it's pretty tight. All right, the resistance it's about 70% chance that it will not 70% chance it will not go above that. 70% chance. You're never going to hear me talk about 100% anything, but you'll hear me say that, and that's pretty good because that's it's showing quite a few resistance here. All right, what they're doing now, they're tracking it sideways as they either prepare. Here's the thing we're gonna have to watch out. All right, let me see if I can get you. We're on the 5-minute short. Let me see if I can get you down to the 45-minute short here. All right, you gotta watch out is this kind of little doodad right here. You can say this candlestick. They may end up putting it around here, and this is to get you one final time to think that the market's going to go up, and you start putting some money behind here, and then they cut it off, and then they'll start dropping you. So before the big drop, before the drop starts to happen, they may be still from their side, there may be some kind of a game being played here to get you to put some more money, so they end up buying up here. They end up actually, well, they're going to go short, but they end up collecting more, you can say, and then they're going to go short. All right, so they may end up playing that game with you, where you, oh my God, it's going to bust through, it's going to break through, and it doesn't break through. Actually, what is them playing the game? All right, so you got to be careful with that. A lot of my stuff is still showing that this is a 70% chance that this is going to come down on here. All right, and it will head down. Now, here's the thing about it. All right, we know that they have been coming up for something back here, and you see this happening now. This has been going on for a while here. Well, they're coming down, they're going up. They may come down here and they continue this road. They may have decided that this is the point where they're going to take this a little higher. All right. So you may see, but for now, what you may see is I will not put this. I wouldn't say I'm gonna go there long term. Oh, I'm gonna wait there for 2 weeks now to go down all the way. I wouldn't. Even it could happen, but I wouldn't go there because the way I see it, I wouldn't go there. But you may see as it comes down here, comes back up, and it goes up, and they may decide to take it up instead of take it down. All right. So we're looking at the short-term investment here. It's what we're looking at from their side. All right. And let me see what I got here, because I'm looking at some of my stuff here. I want to go out to about 15, maybe 1 hour here. Let me go till they like I said, I do mostly, if you're gonna do investment, the way I look at it, I'll do like a 4-hour chart, and it's sideways. My 4-hour, all my 4-hour indicators are sideways. That's all it's showing. It's not. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other on that 4-hour chart. It's showing sideways, but it's still showing this is a pretty solid resistance that is hitting here. It's not the big resistance, but it's a pretty solid what's hitting here. All right, but here's the thing about it. On my stuff is showing a little different. All right, on the one that I'm looking at my 4-hour chart. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Right about here. Okay, I'm trying to look at the price here. Right around here, and this is what I've been looking at. Now you guys think I can't put everything in my mind on here. Because I'm sometimes crunching data extremely fast in my head. All right, but what you might see here happening is where it'll come down. Okay, well, it's going to bounce off here, and it's going to hit this one. It's a short resistance. All right, it's not like you're going to have So if somebody did get up here, and again, I'm not your investor, so telling you when to get in or get out, whatever. I'm just saying it. If I was doing it, all right, I will get in up here. I was thinking about getting in up here. I know that I might end up getting some kind of scare tactic in there by them. But I'll think about getting up here. But I wouldn't do it yet. I still wouldn't do it because there's something that I'm looking for that you guys don't see, and I don't see it happening yet. Okay. And it will be to me right now. It wouldn't be a good time to get in. Not for me. All right. Not until I see something a little bit better here. And what I'm looking for actually is more or less. What I'm looking for here is a candlestick develop here that is below these candlesticks as an indicator that it's probably time. It's going to be a good possibility time. This is when they're going to start moving it. But if they start moving it, and of course I have another indicators. If they start moving, it's going to be possibly up to this line. Now they could go halfway, or they can go all the way on this and start moving it to this line. At this point in time, this is where they decide if they want to break through on that and continue their route down. Now they have been here. You're looking at this is a 45-minute chart, so you see all the hours. You can probably see how many hours have gone by here, and this has been here for more than a day. You can see where they have been building this up. All right, they've been pretty busy. And all they may do is maybe bounce it down a little bit and continue this upward trend. All right, unless they feel like they had enough and they want to continue to pour it down. They want to bring it down. Then they're going to see it bust through here. All right. My stuff right now, I wouldn't get into it right now. Not from what I see is because of a couple of stuff that's showing me that there is this still could go 50-50 one way or the other right now. Even though it's up here hitting resistance, it still can go 50-50 at this point in time, because I'm waiting to see if it's going to be a longer candlestick, something more committed on here that's showing there's going to be a short. And then I'm looking at something short. I'm not looking at you have to understand, if you did get up here, if somebody did get up here and you put it on short, you're going to shorten it. You got to be aware that it may only get up to half, and if it gets down here, you got a good chance of it may start moving up. So if you're going to sell on this, I mean, if I was going to sell on it, I will let it go down. At half, I will start evaluating the candlesticks that I'm looking at and the wicks, and maybe. And depending on what I see, I could chance it and say, I'm going to let it go and try to see if it hits the resistance, this small resistance here. And if this is a weak resistance, but let me see if it breaks through that resistance. All right. So then I can continue to make a profit on it. Because if I'm going to go short, you're going to go make a profit when it goes down. All right. But the only thing I can see now going short is something probably short, not something that's going to give you a lot of return. It may only come up here because they may continue this track upwards, and they may do that for about a week or two, or whatever the time they want to. All right, but I think the way I look at it is I gotta wait for this one indicator, and even though it has gone up here from down here, it started already to hit resistance here, up here. All right, and then there's quite a few resistance in that area when it went up here. When it got to here, there was no resistance there. There was not the resistance. There's not the double, you could say, resistance that I have. The redundant. I guess you can say redundant resistance, because there's multiple ones. They wouldn't show only one of them that's going to show from here. All right. On here is different. This is showing me there are redundant resistance here. There are multiple resistance here, indicating that this is running into a wall. Here not. Here is different. Here if I go back and look at it, it's only running into this one resistance here. It's still a good resistance, but it's still only running into one. One of the indicators that I have is actually running into it and still showing a sideward motion here. All right. but that was actually showing it was going to hit, it was going to run into a problem there. And then when it got up to around here, around this area, like almost halfway here, around here, I started to show a resistance. The same resistance started to move up a little higher, and then we got to where we got here. All right, but now here, what it done here is once it hit here, it actually hit a redundant resistance. Hit one that is telling me, another one's telling me there is there's a good development of resistance here. This was not here. This was not here. It was actually up here. So if I would have gone into this, if I was going to go into this back then, I probably wouldn't jump into it because I was in the middle somewhere, and to me, it's not decided on what really it wants to do. All right, and I knew there was also a good possibility that at this point there was a 50-50 chance of moving up or down, and it moved up down a little bit, and then you see where it moves up. All right, because it hasn't hit the to me. To my stuff doesn't show hitting the redundant resistance. It shows weak resistance up here. And now you're going to see this. You're going to see where it develops the floor. You can see down here. Okay, the support. Maybe this will be a weak support. Okay, if it comes in this direction, it will be a weak support. The heavy support to me, okay, where it has the redundant support, is actually down here. All right, this is where it has multiple indicators saying this is where the heavier stuff is at. This is a weak support, and this is what I told you. They could pump it up now, they could pump it down, they could start playing some game in here, and then see how these two right here, these will be the main enchilada, you could say, how these two play it out. All right, we'll have to watch that. These two right now are showing sideward motion. They're not indicating upwards or downwards. They're only showing sideward motion on these. These are the redundant, you can say, resistance, and they're showing sideways. All right, so it's all to me is there's going to be some sideward motion in this whole thing, possibly for a day or two on here. But I think it will go into tomorrow until they really decide which way they want to go with it. And because of what they have been doing, and they've been doing it all over the place. See here, if you look at here, you basically have the same thing playing out, where you have a sideward motion that went up for a while. All right, and you see their bounces up and down, up and down. This is just bounce. This went up for like about 2 days or more. You can see on here, boom, 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 boom. They're just bouncing it all up and down. All right. And then they had this drop, going down. All right, they try to do they do a little bit here, but you can see where it basically went down. And then if you come back here, you'll see more of this stuff. All right, where you're gonna see these little patterns. All right, these little sideward motion patterns in here. All right. And we're going to continue to look at it. You're going to see how their little games. This is them playing games. This is them playing this game with you. A lot of people think they're going to have something to do with it. No, it's them playing games with you. All right. Look how many of those little patterns you're going to see here. All right. So you see, you got one here. You got another one there. You got another one there. And every time it's been followed up, their little sideward motion, every time it's been followed up by a big drop. All right. And then you have another one, downhill. Another one, downhill. And then you have this one here, which is kind of an interesting one because I guess they tried to get out of the, people are going to figure it out. Just try to do something a little different. And they put the pattern above it, above the drop. You can see where it has there's a bigger drop here, and then they put the pattern up here. You have the two lines here. Well, there's a sideward motion. Then they drop it. And then they bring it back up. And now what you could have developing here, this is what you got to keep an eye. You could have this same little scenario developing here. Alright? And this could be where they bring it down. But here's the thing about it. Because of this, alright, if you look at these patterns are usually above the drop. One that's above where it started to drop, then another one came above where it started to drop. Another one came in, and then the drop came in. Alright. This one went above, you could say, and this one then went back above. Alright, so you may have here looking, you may be looking at maybe I got another line there. You have this sideways motion right here. Alright. And this one then, this new sideways motion that seems to be developing here, it's up here. But it's undecided. Because it could go up, down this way, but it could start developing here, which is just above the other one. This is why the direction could be changing. They could start changing. They could begin to think about changing the direction in an upward motion here. All right. So you're coming in. If you're coming in to sell here, to go short, you're looking at coming in at the right now. I wouldn't go in because, like I said, my stuff is still in an area that I personally wouldn't go in right now. All right, because it's even though they're showing strong resistance here, it might not be the time for me to come in there. But if the proper things came into motion, because they got triggered, then I will say, yeah, if I came in here, then I'm looking at profit taking when it starts to drop close to this resistance. Now, depending on what I see in candlesticks and how fast these candlesticks are moving, or if I see another area that starts to build sideways, I may hold off and may end up selling off there. I mean, taking profit and wait to see what it's going to do next. If I see that it's coming down and you see some good candlesticks and some good volume moving down, then you're going to see, well, it maybe continue to go a little bit more, but it's probably going to get to, then it's going to hit this resistance. I don't think you're going to have this kind of movement, I guess. What I'm trying to say is it's just going to go like that. It could happen because it's happened back here before. It happened here. It happened kind of here. But they're all going to cut it off. They're not going to continue on forever, and they all end up coming back here and coming back. Even if they do break through this, they're going to pop it back up, and they'll play games here. They'll pop it down. But what we gotta be aware of is this here. Is this box, you could say, right here. That this box went up, and that this box is developing above this box. Even though this is the major box, is this one right here, but this seems to be more confusion. This seems to be more like they're seeing what direction they want to go in. And then this box here, all right, because there's a resistance right here on it. All right, right here. This may be, and it's a bit above. It will be, to me, it will be a bit above this one, because this one actually kind of starts. This resistance starts here, at about here. All right. So you see, you put it. It's above, and now you have this here. It hit this resistance here. So they may be going. The trend may end up coming up this way. My indicator trends do not show that. It's showing sideways, and that's because of this basically will show as the whole thing will show sideways motion here. Even though you have this and this, you still have a shot sideways. It's not committed, but there are possibilities within there that you can say, I can maybe make some money there. I can say, because I'm not saying what you should do. Can make some possibility. I can come into the market and make a short sell there and see the trend coming down. I wouldn't do it yet, not yet. I don't see what I'm looking at. I'm not seeing the amount of the candlesticks that I want to see. They're not there. Even though it's hitting a resistance, it's not bouncing, and it's Monday, so that's another one that the volatile. It can be very volatile on Monday on what they want to do. But I don't see, like, I'm not looking at here. We're looking at the 45-minute chart here. What I'm trying to say, we're not seeing good candlesticks coming down here. Alright, which will help me decide this is the time to get in. Right now, all I'm seeing really is a sideways motion here. And even though you do have a redundant resistance up here, you have a couple of my resistance have hit here saying there is a resistance, it could blow still. It could still go through it. All right. All right, because I don't see anything there. Until I don't start seeing some activity here, some of the candlesticks where they're not going sideways, where they're making a commitment upward. Now I can't say much here if it's going to go up. But if you just go by the redundant resistance, then yeah, it's going to bounce into a wall here, and they're probably going to knock it down. All right, and then they may come back and retest, so-called retest, which is whatever they want to do here. The highs here, and continue on their merry way, pulling the currency down. The currency is not going to go down too much. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right, they're not going to push that. They're not going to allow it to fall too much. All right. So this here's the whole thing is hitting a area in which they have to decide on what they want to do. All right, they took it all the way down here. They played the little games. It was coming in fast and hot, you could say. And now they're evaluating what they want to do with this currency. It's not you, it's them evaluating. Okay, it's not you're just the guy that goes along for the ride here, or the girl, whatever. All right. So if I was in the right place, that's what we're looking at. But I don't see it. I see this is pretty tight right here. For right now, even though the confirmation and redundance is down here, so this is pretty much it's going to be a hole here for a second. All right, I have another one up here, something else up here that I got this also telling me that it may be time to go short, but that's not. That's still another one. So there's about 3 or 4 that I got up here. Actually, about 4. Up here, they're holding this off. Different things, they do different things here. So I'm holding it off, but I'm not looking at like I say, I'm not still committed on that to make a decision I want to do. And then looking at, let me see, we're going to go back to the short term. We'll go to the 15 minutes, see what it's doing. And it's still going sideways. And then we go to the 5 minutes. 5 minutes, it's just telling you what people are doing right now, pretty much. And they're all going sideways. There's been a little bit of upwards movement. You can see it, a little bit upward movements there. People are thinking, well, it's probably going to go up. And they got into the market. All right. And that's what we got to be careful with. But it's just, as it kind of goes up here, it's going to hit the stronger and stronger. And it's hitting into an area which is pretty strong right now. To continue to go. Well, the thing about these people is they could come in to trigger you to go to put more money into it. They could give you a long candlestick in here. All right. They can say, well, we'll give them a long. They're manipulating. Remember, they're manipulating the market, and they'll give you a long candlestick in here, and then you come in. Oh my God, it's going to be, and then you'll put money in there, and drive it up a little bit longer. They then buy over here. They get into the market here to shorten the market. And because what it is, they got fresh investors, fresh money, more money into it. And then they're in here setting up. And then at that point is when they drop. All right. And then those that went up there may not even recover. If they do a really good move, those may not recover there for quite a while. It may be a long time before they recover. Because we will know they may end up pulling one of those stunts. Alright, go back to the 45 minute here, which is all the way back here. We're looking at days and month. Anybody that got up here, anybody that put their money up in this area is in serious trouble. Because look where it's gone. It just continues to go. And then if you go back into the weeks, alright, if you go back there and, a year ago, you got in somewhere around here. You haven't recovered. You have not recovered your money. As a matter of fact, you've lost pretty much everything. So if you put money here to go with it, it was going to move up. And look, this goes back. Wow, this goes back to around 2016. Anybody up here, it's been already years. And they never recover that. That's a complete loss, in some ways. In some ways. Maybe if you still have the money there, you still have it on there. Hey, if you haven't gotten a Martian call, and you're able to survive all this stuff. It'll take a while maybe to go up. All right. So that's what you got to watch out. Right now we're not here at this bottom here. We do have. Let me go look. I want to go look at my weekly chart because since I'm showing you guys a weekly chart, let me see what it says on here on mine. All right. Basically, it puts it on there. The weekly chart puts the resistance right there. All right. It's not a well, it is. You could say it is it does have double confirmation on there. All right. Right down here. I'm going to go over here. I want to see something though. That I put that there and I looked at the weekly chart. Oh, too much here. Let me go down to 45 minutes. Okay. Alright. So it is a bit of a danger zone on there. Alright. This line here should be that weekly chart line that I put. And that's hitting, that's like a hardcore resistance there. Alright. That it could go down and hit there. As a matter of fact, in the weekly chart, that's where it's at. Alright, but it has these long candlesticks, and this is what you're playing, this long candlestick right here. The trend on that weekly chart is showing downwards. And it is hitting some kind of resistance right here. On the weekly chart. Alright. But they seem to be going we're looking at one of my indicators. It shows that does very good on the trend. It's still showing that the trend's going to continue, even though I hit that resistance, that the trend will still continue for a little bit. Alright, before there might be an upward move here on that weekly chart. So the trend, here's the way it looks like. The trend for that weekly chart is down here. Alright. And there are double resistance for the weekly chart here. There's some reducting ones. So we're all the way up here. Okay, but that's not the weekly chart. We're looking at more like the shorter charts, the 45-minute charts, the 15-minute charts up here. For the weekly chart, it's down here. All right, and down here is hitting resistance. All right. So what you may see here for the next week is this sideward motion of pumping and dumping, but sideways, but within range, a range motion, you could say, in this area, in the price range. Not this. Do not look at this price here. That's not where it's at. The price is here. The price is the right price is up here. All right. I'm showing where the weekly chart is gaining up and down. It doesn't even show it on here because I put it on there. Let me see. It goes way back. Way back. Alright. On there. Alright, but it's been down. Let me see the 52. I'm looking at the 52 lows. It's around 0.5902, and the highs have been 0.663. You could say, and some more ditches on there. Alright. That's been right now. It's at the bottom of the 52-week low. It's not at the bottom of the 52-week low. It's gained a little bit of strength. It's come back a little bit. It's not the low of the 52-week low. Alright, so because of the weekly chart, alright, and it has gained a little strength. There's a possibility going back. Let me go back to, we're at the 40. I think it was in the 45 minute. Yeah, I'm in 45 minutes. There's a possibility that the game is going to be played. The range, you could say, is going to be in here. Alright, and maybe in another week or two, they may decide to pump it up a little bit and take it off. So that means I gotta clear this chart because now I'm all confused. Let me get rid of this. Alright. Get rid of that one. Get rid of this one. Alright. For now, we have this going on. Okay, well, we have this higher resistance here. And then we have this this support level down here. We got a support level down here. This is a stronger support level. This is a weaker support level. But on, like I said, the weekly chart is showing that we are getting close, or we're at a strong resistance, weekly resistance. It's not. It's just beginning to start. All right. So like I said, this, and because of this, the way the box was set up here. Remember I told you about the box? It seems like the box moved up. This is a box right here. You can see. Let me see if I can make it more, a little bit more sticking out for you guys. So I'll draw you like a box here. All right. And then you see this one here, which is basically between here and here. Alright. Let's see if I move that. Here's the thing. And if you think about it, it's not only the first one. There was another box here, a short box. Okay, let me move that line down. And I'm talking about sideways motions here. Alright. And I'm gonna have to erase this. This one sucks. Okay, here we go. See what you're seeing here? It's a bit of a pattern. Alright, you got sideways motion. You had this pretty size drop, but then all of a sudden you have this sideways motion develop. You have another one here. And this is actually a box within this is another short box, actually, here, if you think about it. Alright. Another sideways motion here. But it's above this box. And then this big enchilada box, you can see. Let me move that to the correct way because it's not. Actually, there's another box there. Right there. Put too much of a spread. I didn't see that one. Didn't notice that. There's one right here. So this box is down here. This one, sideways motion develops here. Another sideways motion develops here. Alright, then it came down here and tried to develop this sideways motion. It didn't hold off. It ran into this pretty good resistance down here. And then you see this sideways motion now could start to, this is the big move here, but you see this other sideways motion here, and they seem to be indicating. You see some upward stuff, even though this one came down, but it went back up. So what you're looking at is the beginning of this here. And like I said, it's the weeklies down here. Was showing a little bit of sideways motion on the weekly. Alright. So my indicators right now are showing that this is sideways. This is not going, and it's not showing me to get in right now and buy right now because it continues. It could have energy enough to move up. What do we got here? I didn't see this candlestick. I got too much lines. I gotta clear these lines. Maybe I can clear them all at one time. Let me get them out of here. Make note of this, people. I have to clear these lines up. Let's see if I can clear these other ones then. Well, got a lot of lines. I'm sure somebody else said, the way you clear it, you have to press this button. Okay, well, tell me what it is. Alright, I'll just get rid of all these for now. Start over. There's something I'm seeing here that I want to get to. I just want to get rid of some of this stuff. Alright. There you go. I get rid of some of this stuff here. Alright, I need to look at something really fast here before where is it? I just want to look at this. And this is in the 45 minutes. You see this right here? This is the resistance, and this is, like I say, there is a double resistance here. The thing about it is the weekly is showing something interesting. The weekly chart is showing that it's almost on a sideways motion, and it's running to some heavy resistance there. That's the weekly one. Alright. But it's still, it could actually, what could happen here, what could happen in here, is this up and down motion here, and they may end up pushing it upwards if that's where they decided the weekly. If the weekly chart was going to go the proper way, I would have told you it's going to go up right now. But because it's in a sideways motion, the weekly charts, it's basically in a sideways motion, indicating sideways motion. 45 minutes is indicating sideways, possible sideways motion here, and other charts are showing, other time frames are showing there's a sideways motion developing a range here, developing sideways. Alright, that's what you got here. Take this out from here. Alright, but it is running into this resistance here. Even though the weekly chart is showing downwards, it is going sideways, it's running into this. So this may be a... See, for the weekly chart, this whole thing will show up as one candlestick. It's just going to show up a 1 week candlestick. It won't show up what you're looking at right now. You're looking at 45-minute candles. You're looking at several hours. But this will all be compacted into one candlestick, you could say. Alright, and it's showing it's showing that this entire enchilada, you could say, is sideways. Alright, this will be compacted actually into a sideways candlestick right here. Alright, all this right here. So it'll be like looking at a candlestick, but going up to here, and then the candlestick goes up that way, and then the wick develops down here, and on. And this will be like a compacted, all right, in this area. This is more than a week, I think. Here, you got a lot longer than a week here, but I'm just giving you an idea of what it could, when you see all this stuff, because we're going to go back to the hour. Let me go back to the 15 minutes here. All right. So you see where it's coming up. And like I told you, remember I told you gotta watch out because they could put a long candlestick in here that does this, and they know there's resistance is up here, but it's to get investors to invest, so then they can even do better when they shorten the currency. All right, so a lot of money starts coming in. People think it's going to go up, and people start buying. But in reality, you're actually trading within in the level of resistance. You're inside the level of resistance. You're trading, and this is where they're getting more money off you. Because then at any given time here, they could say, well, now it's time to drop it, and that's what they do. They start to drop it. But here's the thing you got to know. There are strong resistance down here. There's a weekly resistance down here that is hit. All right, that's indicating there could be a bounce happening here in the next week. In the next week or two, we'll be possibly in the next week coming up. We will be looking at a bounce happening. All right, this could be the beginning of the bounce. We could already be seeing some kind, because it went sideways here, and then you see this happening, developing, and this could be the beginning, because it is the beginning of the week in some ways you could say. All right. And you can see the beginning of the bounce already, some of the beginning of the bounce beginning to happen. Alright. Develop in here. But doesn't mean you cannot make money upwards or downwards. You can always make money upwards or downwards, but you have to look at the shorter stuff, at the shorter time frames, you could say. And then start looking at those resistance and where they're at. But keep in mind that the trend, if they're going to change the weekly chart and they're going to push it off that bottom down here, which is down here, then the trend will start to go up. And there'll be bounces, but the trend will be going up. All right, and then they may decide where we're going to push it up a little bit more. But this, in general, the New Zealand, Swiss franc has not been doing good. It's been on a downtrend for quite a while now. All right, going in a couple of years here. So we don't know. So the thing about it is, then they could take it all the way up here, and it's still, in the long run, it's just going to come down. The problem is anybody gets in there could end up being burned big time. All right. So we're not looking at long-term. At least I will not look at this as being like a long-term investment for Swiss going upwards anywhere soon. And downwards would be very easy and more riskier in some ways, because you don't know when they're going to make their change and decide that that year is the one they're going to bring back the New Zealand Swiss. All right, all right. So we know that down here is the weekly chart. It's hitting a resistance level. I mean, hitting a support level down here. And then there's a resistance level up here, and it's kind of right now, it's on a sideways motion. All right, but for today and tomorrow, I think it's going to run into all this right here until this resistance level, and then it'll start playing games where it starts coming down in here, and it could be playing between this range right here. The up and downs could be in there, and you got to be careful with this one right here. All right, and this is where you come in. You make some. I mean, I will come in if I'm going to get in, even though I won't get in right now because I don't like. It's not exactly. I don't see the candlesticks I want to see. Let me go back to the 15-minute chart. Yeah, I don't see that there. I will not come in right now. The 15-minute chart does not look good for me to. It will look really bad to come in right now. You guys can't see what I'm looking at, and I'll go to the hour one. And on the hour one, it shows. It's all showing. All of them. All the charts basically are showing the resistances up here, but still is not the time to come in for me. I will not come in at this time. And on the 4-hour chart, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but on the 4-hour chart showing sideways, and I still wouldn't come in. So all this, even though it is hitting resistance up here, there are certain things that I'm looking at that still I'm not. I think it could still go up. It could still go up into this resistance. It could dig into that resistance for a couple more candlesticks before it decides to come and go the other way. All right. Let me go over to the 15-minute chart again. I'm not. You're looking at the chart that I'm not looking at there. And yeah, this is not. It's not strong, even though it hits resistance. It's got double resistance in there. It's kind of had to hold off and wait for some candlesticks to develop on a downward trend there. Before I will get in, I will wait for some candlesticks to develop in here, because it still could go up a couple more candlesticks. And because this may end up being it will be a short-term in and out. You might be able to take it. You might not if you don't wait for the proper time. You could get it where it moves up here heavy into the resistance level, and then right away behind it somewhere here it makes another one, and you get cut off from where you wanted to make a profit at, and you didn't get it, and you're cut off, and you have to wait. Alright, but I think eventually it may come down, but they may take it up for a couple of weeks. They may decide, well, we're going to take it up now for a week or two. We're going to keep moving up here, and it could go up here somewhere, and then they'll take it back down again, and they could start ranging in there for the rest of the year. You don't know. Alright, so for now, it's looking pretty much what's going to happen here. What's going to happen in here? What's this resistance level that they're hitting? And they seem to be bouncing it up a couple times here with some candlesticks. And if it gets in the right place, then you're going to see a drop in here, into here. Alright. And that's like a short term, in and out is what you're looking at there. It's too volatile right now to get in for any long term in any particular direction, especially that the weekly chart is indicating a resistance down here somewhere. It could come down where it's at right now and then bounce off and be there about a week or two, or it could come down. and they may not break that resistance the weekly. It may hit bottom in some ways. It has been going on for a while. It has been coming down. So now market conditions, depending on what happens on when the U.S. markets opens up and all the markets are open up at the same time, you can say. All the, normal, or you can say normal because right now the U.S. markets, because of the holiday, they're closed, and then they may decide then what they're going to do. But for you can, like I said, you can't depend on all these weekly ones or yearly ones because you never invest. You only invest in that yearly invest, and that could be long term, and you have to have some heavy pockets and some really good margins, especially if you're going to go short. All right, and if you're going to go long, and there's a good chart that shows that currency has been going up on a constant basis every year, a couple percent, 10, 5%, whatever the deal, 3%. Then you're investing for a long run. But it doesn't mean it's changing anything. Geopolitics, wars, anything could change it where it just has a bad year and drops and may not even take a while for it to recover. All right. So if you're just looking at 15 minutes if you're just looking for short-term investment of going in for a day or two, maybe a week, maybe the long a month, then you're looking at different time frames is what you're looking at. All right. And then you got to be careful with the volatility. It's always good to follow, like, let's give an example, even though that's not what's going on here, but I'm just going to give it an example. Let's say this is a yearly chart, and you're seeing this happening. So you know that the charts on a yearly, on this, let's say it was a yearly chart, you see there's a downtrend. But you see all this up and downs here. If you can survive these up and downs, and you're not going to get a margin call, whatever the deal, because you're going to, on this one going down, you're looking at going short. And you can survive some of these upward motions so they won't trigger a margin call on you. All right, then you're okay. All right, then you can say, well, at the end of the year, I still make some money because I came up here and I made some money. All right, but if something takes place, a war or something, or some kind of financial crisis on that, New Zealand or Swiss, or something happens, positive or negative, then you could see it going up. And then it could go up for a couple years. Then you're out. You lose your investment. You're not losing your investment. If you're actually going up, but if you're calling short, you're probably going to be in trouble, in major trouble. You're probably going to get a margin go. All right, on short, because unless you put really deep pockets to go, as far as short goes. So you see a lot of people in forex markets are not doing a lot of these long-term investment. The market is very volatile, and it could currency downtrend could last for a long time, or uptrend could even do good. But you have all these bounces, and it all depends on how deep is your margin account. If you can survive it, and if you're willing to wait a couple years to even recover, and it may not recover. It may decide it was going to be there a couple decades. It might not be around anymore by the time it recovers. All right, so that's the way it is. So people will end up losing their money pulling it up because they don't want to lose all their capitals and they want to reinvest somewhere else. All right. But for this one right now that we're on this 15-minute chart, all right, we are looking at resistance in here. That's what it's bouncing off that resistance right there. All right, and we're looking at this range right in. We're looking at this right in here. So if they don't pump it up anymore, and what I see now, it's an interesting candlestick that's developing. I don't know if you see it on this chart. Let me see if I can see it on this chart. I try to get to that because I'm really far away from the candlesticks right now. There you go. There's something interesting that I just seen develop now. It's this one here. Let me move that line out of the way here. This little candlestick right here. Let's see if I can get that a little bit more blown up for you. This right here. Now you had this one here, which to me this is them kind of pushing it up, trying to get a little bit more money off you before they go short. And I think what they're planning on going short here. And I'm talking about they being the super banks, they being the institution of going short. This candlestick did not come above this, and this one just got even with it. So this little scenario here is indicating downward trend. that this is when they're starting their downward motion. All right, on this chart. All right. So hang on 1 second. I'm looking at another chart. Where the heck was I on that? Interesting. Yeah. Let me get in. Huh. Interesting. Alright, so we're seeing that. Going back to the chart here. Let me go back to the chart. What the heck was it? Because I'm looking at another chart on there. And it's interesting. A lot of resistance in there. And now you have the development there at the 15-minute chart. Okay. Lost all my stuff here. Alright. So there you go. Alright, so you may see, but this is not, I would say, you have a little resistance here and you got that big resistance down here. Alright. For a possibility for me, this will be a possibility to get in. Alright. Inside here. Alright. It seems like it had enough running into the resistance. Like it's tired of running into that resistance. There's the double resistance here because this line I moved it down was actually up here. Actually, I'm just playing around with this line, putting it down and showing you the other resistance. But there should be another line here. Let's run into that. And now it's beginning to show more and more that this will be a going short call at this point. You'll be going. I will be, if I'm in here, you can say I'm going short on that. All right. Is what I'm looking at. Alright. Because it's hit all this area up here, excuse me. It's hit all this area up here, all this resistance area up here. So it's not, they seem like they tried to pump it up a little bit more, and they probably set up all they put in their, got enough for their shorts, you could say, so then they could take it down. Alright. So we may start seeing that developing there. Alright, and let me go over there and check out the 15. We're in the 15-minute chart, and I want to go over to the. I want to see something here. I want to go over to the 45-minute chart, see what it's doing. 45-minute charts, as you can see, again, you don't have to. Let me put that line because I used that line down here. This is where the resistance is at. This is a confirmation resistance in some ways, or a redundant resistance. There's a couple of them that I have up here showing me this is pretty heavy up here resistance. So this here is bouncing already, you can see. And I would like to see what this candle wick ends on here. It would be nice to see where it ends on. There you go. Now it's actually good. It's doing okay. If we can get our next 15, this is a 45-minute bar we have here. If we get another 45-minute bar in here, below this, or in the middle here, we're okay, because it's going to show up. It's probably going to continue. If below here is even better, of course. Let me see the 15. Maybe we'll 5-minute short here. Alright, 5-minute shorts are showing that the candlesticks are coming below the previous price. Alright, and they're beginning to develop. It's showing there is a down trim. And here comes, that's a new one right there. You can see how it's beginning to come down. Alright, so we're looking at 15 minutes right there. And now heading into 20 minutes. And you see where it's coming down. Alright, I told you it's going to bounce off that resistance. Now we're going to see is how far they're going to take it here. Alright, and this is just a 5-minute short. Going back to the, let me go back to the 45-minute short. Okie dokie. Alright, so we're gonna see here on the 45 minutes if it starts, if it comes, I'm hoping that if it's gonna come in and does this, and you'll see another buy coming up here. It's just going sour for right now. But if it comes down and you see it coming down, then you see it's just gonna continue to drag it down. We just continue to drag and drag and drag and drag. Now, it's when it gets to around here. If it's going to come down, when it gets to around here, is when you're going to start looking for. It's when you have to see if they're going to move it back up. All right. To bounce it off here, or to get people to think it's going to go up, and where they're actually attempting is to bring it down. So we got to see what happens on there. Let me see here. I'm on the 15-minute chart on the other one, and I want to look at the. I want to go to the 4-hour chart on the. See where we're at. Yeah, everything shows on the 4-hour chart showing a lot of sideward motion, but it does show that still here. There's that resistance here. Alright, and it left a long candlestick on the 4-hour chart. It's a good indication that it doesn't have enough strength to break through that resistance. They're going to possibly leave it there. And we'll go back to the 5-minute chart here. Alright. And that's developing there. Alright, so there it goes. It's going to hang. It's going to probably will sit there. Okay. Now they could bounce it up and get it closer into this resistance. This is up here in this area, or up here, and then bounce it off back down there. And you're looking at it, a day or two of them playing this game. All right, or they could just right at that point in time around here, they could start. They already started their downward trend, and they will continue to come down. I don't know if it's going to come because of the weekly chart. I don't know if it's going to come all the way down to here. All right, because they seem to be developing some trends, some support levels. One's here, the other one's here. So we got to be careful if the other one doesn't turn out to be around here. All right, and it's because the weekly chart has reached a bottom that is a strong bottom. All right. So you're going to have some of this fluctuation, but the trend may actually, if that weekly chart holds, the weekly chart candle holds where that bottom is, you may have a trend developing here for a week of an upward motion, upward move. But they'll still drop it off here, or some sideward moves. It could go for a couple of weeks. It could just be trending sideways for a week or two, or maybe even 3, before they move it up or down again. Alright. So for right now, it did get off that resistance. It is bouncing off the resistance. Not in a strong way. The markets, like I said, is missing. The U.S. market is not open. A lot of the U.S. traders, sometimes they don't trade FOREX unless they're open. They're trading both markets at the same time, and they're up trading both of them. So you're missing some of the investors on FOREX. But the institution also on vacation. A lot of those guys are taking a break from their ripping off millions of dollars of people. So they may be taking a break too. So you'll have some institutions, some of the ones in the big banks and institutions in Asia who are open, and in Europe. You don't have the full-blown, all of them, you can see. But you can see now where you have this developing here. Alright. There you go. So if you have been able to get up here, and you're getting here, the only thing is, like I say, it could go half, it could go all the way down, it could go past this, but once you start getting about half of this here, this is when you start looking to see what kind of the resistance is going to hit. Doesn't indicate to me. Let me look. I think I'm in a 5. I don't like 5-minute charts. They're kind of okay, but their resistance levels show up too soon. Yeah, that's exactly what I said here. If it comes down here, this is what you gotta look for, the next resistance. Right here. Alright. That's on that. This is more on the 5-minute chart here. Alright. Let me go up to the 45 1 second. I'm changing the charts from another side. And I'll tell you something else here. Okay. On the 45-minute chart, it changes. All right. On the 45-minute chart, you're looking at, this is the stronger resistance down here. And this puts it, it's exactly where I'm expecting. It puts it in the middle. This is what I'm looking at. This is where you may see a bounce of this new attempt to go low, a new attempt to go short. You may see a bounce here in the middle. All right, but doesn't mean they're not going to continue down this way. They may bounce off here and it'll go up, and then it'll come back down and come and retest the support level down here. All right, so they may end up doing that, or they may end up where they or they'll bounce off here and stay in range in here, and then of course move back up. But other depending on other stuff and that you're looking at time down there that I'm not going to be around telling you anything. I'm not in the air. All right. But if I wasn't going to get no more communication between now and my decision on what I want to do, I'm looking at this here is the decision done on what they want to do. So if you're investing up here, if you were, let's say, got into the market up here, you're watching this downslide, and you're going short, all right, from off of this resistance level here. Once you get to these levels here, and this is being one of them, this is when you got to start if you're actually making any money. If I was making any money, I'll be looking at this level here and this level here for sure. All right, of a bounce, of possibly taking profit on these two levels here. This level here, they may not come back to it because of the weekly short, because of what's going on with the weekly short and the candle, the last candle that shows a sideways motion. So they may not come back down in this area or past this area, and they may just leave it here, and they'll start playing in here. All right, and if they're planning on moving it up, or you could say they're going to be up in this area, but of course that's going to be depending on other candlesticks coming up and certain things coming up next week on the economic news, because they use the economic news to move a lot of the forex market, is what they do. For now, for today, the way I look at it is, you're going to have this, all right, and it'll bounce off a little bit here, up and down, but they know that resistance is there, and people are going to stop going there, and there's still a higher resistance, which is up here, so they could bounce it off of here a little bit, bring it back up, but eventually they'll start coming back down and playing around in here. All right, so we'll see what happens, what develops there. You can see some of this stuff here developing. This last candlestick here on the 45-minute chart didn't make it all the way to the low of that other candle. Alright, so, and you see it's beginning to bounce a little bit in here. Like I tell you, there is a stronger resistance up here, a more solid one that is up here. This is one of the ones they're running into that shows it's going to be a downward trend, but they could put it in here and then bring it down. But if you're going to go and put it into percentage-wise, there's a around 25% chance that it will go up further into this resistance. 25% chance. All right. And then there's around a 70 to 75% chance that it's going to go down. Is what you're looking at here. All right. And it'll be, and once it reaches here, there's a good, there's a 50-50% chance that it's going to go up or down. And this one will be a decision for them, what they want to do here. If it breaks through, then you may see where it goes down half of this. Okay. If it breaks through that one, then you may be looking at half of here, about half, where it comes down, and then again, you'll see it either bounce up, play some gains, and then see if they're going to take it down. But because of the weekly candlestick, that's the one I'm talking about, the one that came out weekly, there could be a possibility of sideway motion, and a possibility that it may start moving up a little bit. They may end up moving this currency up in the next couple of weeks on there. So that's where you're at there. Okay, let me go back to the 5-minute one. All right, and you see the 5-minute one recover a little bit. Now, it's moved up a little bit. Still, we're in basically in a sideways motion is what we're headed. All right, we're sideways. All right, but it's bouncing off. They're gonna have to move it one way. Sideways is not doing much here for them. It's that when you have that up and down motion there. All right. So they're now deciding, should we take it up and go in more deeper into our resistance and pick up a little bit more bucks and get some more, get ready for more of a short sell here, because that's what they're positioning themselves in short sell. All right. Because of this resistance, they know that people are hitting this resistance. It's going to hold back investors, so they want to make some money. So they know eventually they're going to have to probably push it down. All right, and they're going to run into short. They're going to run into this. But the thing is, they can move it up. They could come in here, create a bit of a panic. They put a longer candlestick in here, moving upwards, and it gets people to panic and think that this is it's not a sell, it's a buy, and people start selling and losing money, and then start buying, reinvesting. And pushes it up, and then they're all the way up here set up to go short as the people come up and still take a short. All right, but this could go on for a couple hours. This little war, this little collection of theirs, because what they're doing is they're collecting money from you, taking money from you, and screwing the people psychologically. They're screwing a lot of people over. All right. And then when at the right time, when things kind of dry up, they're not getting people to invest anymore, and people got sick and tired, and they know they have taken enough advantage of your data. Then they go short when you're least expecting, and it starts coming down. You see, it starts coming down. When they really want you to go short, when they really want to push you short and get you to go along with their shortness, you could say, they will pull in a little fast stunt. All right. You'll see a longer bar. You see one of these long bars develop in here. Once you get that long bar develop in there, then people start saying, "Well, it's going short," and you see all the sellers, those who bought will start selling, and those who want to shorten will start getting into the market. All right, and then you start seeing, and they're over here happy as crap, laughing at everybody on how they created this. All right. And those who were buying end up being screwed because now it went short. And they could push it all the way up to here, or they can push it here, or even go as crazy as going down here. And this is where I will be here, and I will be telling you, got to be careful here when it gets down in this area, because this is when they can start pushing it up and getting prepared for another pump and dump scheme of theirs. Because it's all pump and dump schemes. Sometimes the schemes can go quite a big giant chunk, and sometimes it goes little chunks. So what is it they want to play? What kind of what is it they want to play today? Is it long chunk or short chunks of money? All right, it's basically what they're doing. It's a game being played with you 24 hours. I mean, every time you're on this forex, you're being played with. A lot of people are, if people stop putting in limit calls and stop using indicators online. All right. Somehow use some, and you can't do it. It's almost impossible. You have to have an indicator online because it's feeding you live data where the price is at. So I don't even know how they're going to do that, because they're collecting all that data from you. All that data on your limit calls. They're collecting all that data on on your profit, where you want to put your profit taking if you put someone down. All the data is being collected on you. They know it all, and then they're running all these super algorithms through the entire system that's helping them out. And then they're looking at all this data, and they got this super software that then tells them what are the probabilities, where the people mostly are looking at this, the direction of this currency or stock or whatever it is, and then they play you, and then because they got the money to manipulate and give you the shocker candlesticks one way or the other, they can then manipulate you, and that's what you're being played. All right, that's why people can have a hard super time figuring out forex markets. It's almost next to impossible for a lot of people to figure it out. It's because they're playing you. You don't know where the human factor is. You don't know what they're thinking. All right, but by knowing that you're being played and you're beginning to figure them out, and sometimes if you develop some really good indicators or whatever, try to keep it off from showing up other people. You can keep some of the stuff to yourself and maybe have multiple layers of different things so they'll have a harder time to figure it out on their algorithms. You may still have a chance to win and have a bit of advantage because they're always like about 4 or 5 steps ahead of you. All right, and try to kind of even out the field for your investment. A lot of people that get into forex market, some people have estimated, some analysts have estimated it. Any people that invest in forex market, there's a possibility that 90% of them, something like 98% of them will lose their money, either short term or long term. They will all lose it. They'll lose everything they invested. All right, so what they're saying is only like the top 2 or 3% of the people have figured it out in some ways forex market where they're able to make a living. All right, and what I noticed was some of these people, they're actually out there. You may even be able to see some of their videos if you see some of the indicators, or you can see a little bit of it because they don't even want to show you. They figure something out. There's something that they figure, but they're more than just the indicator. There's a lot more. There's a lot of psychological warfare happening here. And I think a lot of these people like me, they figure out that they're not alone in this. When they're on here, when you're on here with thousands and thousands of investors, and all your data is being fed to these people. And if you think you figure out a wedge, or you think you figure out a heads and shoulder, so did thousands of other people, and this is what they're seeing. This is what they're going to play you with, and they can finish off wedges and heads and shoulder for you, but all in the direction that you don't want to go, and in the direction they want to go. All this stuff is manipulated, people. All right. So we're going back over here. Let me look over right here. And we're still in this sideways motion, basically, is where we're at. All right. And the resistance is still there. It doesn't mean there's a resistance down there. It just means that they're keeping it up here. All right. And they may be just pumping a little bit upward, collect more, or get ready for more of the was to go short. And maybe you'll see a long candlestick develop here. All right, just to get people into a panic to think that it's going to go up, and then they'll collect more to go short, and on and on and on. The game will continue. Then when they get to a point, they'll eventually get to a point where they're going to go one way or the other on here. But the indication is they're going to go short. A lot of the, from what I see, the indication is eventually they're going to go short. Even if they take it all the way up here, eventually it seems like they're going to take it short. The problem is how far short. Because they can take it all the way up here, but they will never come back down here. They'll just make this into something. It'll be days before they even come back down. If they come back, because they may continue to go up this way. All right, but they'll collect money in here. All right. Because that's the games they play. But as far as the resistance go, with the shorts showing, a lot of stuff that's showing is the resistance is heavy up here. There's a heavy resistance up here. All right, that's what it's showing. All right, there is just a heavy resistance up here in that area. All right, so I don't think they're going to go too far because too many investors are not going to go in that area. They're going to hold off, and they still need the money from the public. And if you can generate the money from the public, where are they going to generate it from? I mean, who are they going to rip off if the public is not involved in this? Because that's what their scheme has to include you. Their scheme includes the investor. They need the investors to come in and bring in the fresh money. All right. But if they're scaring the crap out of the investors by the games they're playing, then they have to hold back, and they got to allow some of that money for the investors to make some money. But the majority goes to them. All right, so they can only pump it so much and dump it so much before they have to hold off and go in a different direction. Because if not, then they're not going to make money. All right, so they play the game. They are the masters of the game. You're just a participant in the game, is what you are on this game. All right, so people like me, I'm looking at. I'm not sitting here telling you all these technical stuff, and I'm not. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you from a different perspective how things work here. All right. And my thing here is telling you what I'm telling you right now is the way I look at. For me, if I was going to invest into this one here and put some big bucks, whatever, I'm looking at this is my resistance. This is a resistance they've developed. All right, they're playing their little game as always. All right, and if I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna get in up here somewhere. All right, if I was gonna get in. But I'm waiting for them to settle down because they still haven't settled down. They're still going just up and sideways and all over the place. But eventually they're going to settle down and you're going to start seeing. They seemed like they wanted to try here to go down. All right, but they got to be careful because they're playing their games too. All right, they're playing just games that they play, and there could be some investors getting kind of jetty and they're selling some of the stuff that they have here. But this is for a new investor in forex. For people that don't know, they have no idea what. Right now, you have people yelling and screaming somewhere about this, right here. Some people got in here. Oh, they think that this was going to go up, and they got, oh my God, we're going to, and then they got here, and now they yell, why is it every time I get into the market, this shit happens, this crap happens, all the thing, and they're going insane in there. This thing going sideways and sideways. And this is the 5-minute chart. And the 15-minute charts, I've seen that, which each candlestick represents 15 minutes, and I've seen that going on like that for a long time. It's because they're making the money they're making. Either they're making the money down here, or they're buying, or they're out here selling short, or they're preparing to sell short, or preparing to buy. Whichever. It is the way they make money. And then at the right time, you're gonna see one of these candlesticks come in there that triggers it all. This is what I call this the panic and candlestick, or the one that's going to surprise you. It's going to come in there, and then they're going to push the market one way or the other. All right, they're not going to. For them to be pushed against this doesn't work for them. If they want to push the market upwards right now, because it has a lot of resistance, that means a lot of money. In order for them to push the market upwards, up in this direction, they have to create a panic, and that means they got to put a lot of money on the table as buy orders for them to break through here, to create a buying panic where people start buying. All right, and those who are up here, they had some calls will trigger those, not calls, limit calls will end up being triggered, and they'll start, and it'll be sold, and then you see it push through. But that creates a harder scenario for them because they put a lot of money on the table to push that up. All right, so to make it better for them is to buy right now, getting into the market right now to go short. And allow this to go on for a little bit, and then drop it. All right, and to just put in one or two actions down here of candlesticks to make it look like it's going to go short, or you could say get the public to panic a little bit, and the people start going short. The thing is, if you train a dog to go pick up a ball, all right, if you train the dog, go get the ball, and you say go get the ball, and he listens to you and he go gets the ball every time you use those words, go get the ball. He picks up the ball. But if you start playing around too much game and say, hey, fetch me the ball, or hey, check that out, or hey, bring that over here. He's getting different signals. He doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. You want him to go get the ball, or what is it? All right. So you get him confused. So if they start manipulating this too much, and they know that people are looking at, people are noticing a resistance up here, and they start pumping it up through that resistance, then later on when they want to manipulate the public to go in their direction, the public's going to be confused if this is actually just BS and these indicators are not working their way, or what they've been taught in these seminars is just a bunch of malarkey. All right. So what do is they have to go along with some of the stuff. They train the public. So they want to make sure that the public, you get to a level, but they can only abuse the system so much, because they can then break the system. All right. So they know that if this continues, this is a lot of these mid you could say the smaller investors saying this, then they're going to have to go in here and they're going to have to abide by their own rules or their own training of you, and then they're going to have to drop it. But in the meanwhile, they can collect money. They can collect the way they want it. They can get more and more into there till they have enough to then take a dump on you. And all this there is giving them money. All these little pumps and dumps are giving them money. And eventually that dries out, and they say, okay, now it's time to bring it down and get this thing on the road. But they're the ones who are positioned the best. They're the ones who are ready to go. They're the ones who are really going to make the bucks. You're just there to help them out as a catalyst. That's all you are. Just a catalyst, basically. All right. I hope this makes sense to you guys. All right. And like I said, there's a strong resistance up here. It's up in this area. They dug into a little bit, and then you see they drop. And being the way it is we don't have the full markets open, all the markets open up. They may end up holding that off and dropping that off right here instead of trying to drive it through. All right. Which costs them more money. It costs them money if they want to do this kind of stuff. So they may end up holding though. So we'll see there what happens in the next couple of hours. If we're going to have the drop there. Let me take a look at some other stuff here. We're looking at the 5 minute. Let me go look at the 15 minutes here. Same thing. 15 minutes still there. Still same thing. And then we're looking at the 1 hour here. Okay. There you go. And it's pretty much sideways there. And then we're going to be looking at the 4 hour. I like to do 4 hour. You know, I look at my stuff and I like to do the 4 hour investment. If you're going to do if I'm going to invest, I like looking at 4 hour shorts. I will still look at all the other shorts. But when all my stuff is actually in line, when all the planets align in my system, then I'm looking at the 4 hour short. That's what I'm looking at, to make sure that all the planets are aligned, to give me the maximum ultimate, you could say, advantage of getting a win, to increase my chances, my percentage in winning against them, or winning, you could say. All right. And even then, that's not guaranteed 100%. That's only just as much as percentage you can get on your side that you could bring a win. All right. When you're making 10 trades, and out of 10 trades, you're losing 7 or 8 trades, you're doing something bad. You're not doing something good. All right. And when you're making, let's say, 10 trades, and out of 10 trades, 8 trades are good. 7, 8 trades are good. You're doing pretty good. And if you're lucky enough, you're getting 9 trades, you're doing great. If you're looking 10 trades, then you're some kind of a god. All the trades are good. All right. But if you're up there like in the 7 trades, you make out of 10 trades, 7 trades are positive for you. You're in the right track. If it's completely the opposite, where you're out of 10 trades, 7 trades are going bad on you, or below that, you're doing something's wrong, and you haven't figured it out. You need to hit the practice a lot of this stuff before you really start putting real money behind it. All right, and you need to go into money management. All right, a lot of people they get cocky and they think, oh look, I'm making tons of money. I won. I got 7 trades in a row. I'm going to put all my money. This is when you lose everything. So if you keep money management and discipline going the proper way, and you always invest in within your means, you could say, in money management, where you don't empty out your account and screw it and destroy it. You can manage. If you're making like I say 7 trades and around 7 trades, you're all showing positive. You out of 10 trades, you're getting 7, 8 trades, and you're doing good. There's something you have figured out, but you still need the money management. Okay, because 2 trades could still kill everything that you made. Those 2 other trades that they went south on you, didn't work out for you, could kill your entire account if you're doing improper money management. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind. All right. The thing is to always keep up, always more, that you're making more than what you're losing, and keep that constantly going, and you'll grow your account, you'll make money, and you'll keep going forward, and you'll get even more money to invest, but you always keep the money management and the discipline going, because when you break that, you're going to break yourself. All right. And if you're not out there making these kind of trades, and you're out there, your percentage is really in the dog and dump, and you're putting out there, and you're losing way more, and you're getting very, you're not picking the trades right, you're picking it wrong, on and on constantly, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing. Always understand that I'm not on this site. I'm going to keep driving this home. no matter how many times I do videos on this site, and this is the beginning of these videos, I'm going to keep telling you, you're not in control of this market in any form or shape. You are being used as a catalyst by the big institutions to go one way or the other. And by the time you figure it out, they're the ones who set it up. And they know every trick in the book that the investors are using. And they know about all your indicators. And they know, and all this data is being collected over and over on them. You know what I mean? So it's the way it is. So anyway, people, I'm going to take a look here, a final look. I just want to look here. As you can see, they're still going sideways here. Sideways. Alright, that's going to probably continue in a while. On the 5-minute chart and on the 15-minute chart, sideways motion. 45-minute chart, basically sideways motion. And then on the 4-hour chart, it's just beginning to go. It may, you see under the candlestick, it probably develop sideways, which is kind of good on the 4-minute chart. To cap it off, there is a cap. This is the resistance. All right. You may see a little bit up and down there, but I actually believe for myself, this is what I believe. I'm not telling you what you should do, but what I believe is there's a 70% chance that there will be a downward motion here off this top right here that you're going to see. Even though if it goes sideways, you're going to start seeing this downward motion here. The thing is, these lines right here are going to run into some resistance, and that's when if you do get into up here and you start making money on this by shortening, you got to watch out these two areas here for the possible. You got to do your profit taking possibly here and here. I'm not sure if it's going to go all the way down here, and that's because of this here and these boxes here that is showing that it could be beginning to change. And the weekly indicator or candlestick is also showing that it's hitting a bottom, and it could end up change. It could change in the next week or two. We may be seeing something, or even a lot sooner. We may be seeing some movement, a steady move upwards, but you're still going to have those swings. So short run investment, I guess if I was going to get short run investment, I'm only looking for getting up here. I will look to get up here and possibly get out, if it goes down, to get out of here in here. And at the most leave it up to around maybe here. But I know that here this is going to be, the further down I get down, if I get in here and the further down it goes down, the more riskier it's going to be that it's going to go up. If I'm doing a short term investment on there, I'm just saying. But it's looking good for I will give it about 70% chance that to do a short sell. But like I say, it's a lot of buts in here. Okay, this is where the resistance is at. My solid indicator has not triggered yet. The ones that I used to say, this is a solid, I can say. One of them is getting into the territory of that decision. This is a good strong 70%. One of them is getting into that territory. Okay, it's for me. So if I have right now $400 or $500, I'll come. I don't have that kind of money. I'm not investing in that kind. But I'm just saying, But if you go in there and you say, okay, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do that. If you guys make money on what I'm saying here, please donate to the channel. Please make a donation to the channel. Alright, and we highly appreciate it. And you see I got my QR codes in there for PayPal and for Bitcoin. You can donate either with PayPal or Bitcoin. Alright, and I'll ask you, please, if you make something off of here or you learn something from this today, make some donations here. And the more you donate, or the more you subscribe to this channel, and even if I hear some commentary, or even if you send me some emails saying you're interested in stuff, the more I get encouraged to continue to come out here, because I can do the Forex market, I can do the stock market, I can do some of the stuff in the stock market. Of course, there's so many companies in the stock market, it'd be hard to do. Maybe pick one particular company or a couple companies that people will go in the chat room and pick. All right, and we can check those out. And also the digital currency markets, I can do a lot of that stuff. So, but I need your guys to support the channel. And with any kind of donation, this kind of stuff will help out in a major way. So anyway, good luck with trading. Good luck with all this stuff. And if you're there in the U.S., have a good 4th of July and be safe. And we'll keep an eye on it. So God bless you all. and I will see you. Thank you for coming to the show. Don't forget, likes and thumbs up on all this show. And like I said, if you're able to, if you like what you see, support the channel in what you can. Okay, I will see you. Bye bye now.